Chapter 737. Yang Jing, who was rolling on the ground in pain, immediately gave in. At this moment, Yang Jing only felt that he was not facing a teenager. This was a cold demon king. Lead the way. Lin Yu did not care about how much pain Yang Jing was in. He looked down calmly. Yang Jing, who was on the ground, immediately endured the pain and got up. Young Master Lin Fanjinjin was shocked by the development of the situation. She did not expect that Yang Jing, who was high and mighty just a moment ago, would be kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy in the blink of an eye. And the teenager, who looked useless except for being handsome, became the master of the scene. With Yang Jing at the front, Fanjinjin followed behind Lin Yu as they walked into the back of the hall. In the dark rectangular hall, the footsteps of the three people could be heard. "Young master, will he play tricks?" Fanjinjin asked worriedly, her voice was trembling. Obviously, the surrounding environment made her a little scared. There are 100,000 elite soldiers hidden here. The corners of Lin Yu's mouth curled up. His divine sense had already scanned the surrounding people in the dark. Fanjinjin almost screamed. Fortunately, Lin Yu covered her mouth. "They don't dare to make a move now, but if you scream, they might surround and kill us." "I won't scream, I won't scream." Fanjinjin was so scared that cold sweat broke out on her back. Yang Jing, who was in front, was also looking sideways, constantly paying attention to the movements of Lin Yu and Fanjinjin. He was trying to determine under what circumstances could he kill Lin Yu without causing him to die from the poison. "That kid activated the blood veins in his hand, which made me feel pain." Yang Jing rolled his eyes. If he couldn't kill Lin Yu, his life would be in the hands of the other party. This could not happen. "It's just in front." Yang Jing stopped in front of a dark door and said slowly, "When you see the Ocean Lord, will you cure me of the poison? I'm not here to make a deal with you." Lin Yu's calm voice came. He pinched the blood sacrifice hard again. Yang Jing fell to the ground again in pain. Meanwhile, footsteps could be heard behind Lin Yu and Fanjinjin. It was obvious that the hidden troops were slowly approaching. "I was wrong, I was wrong." Yang Jing knelt down and begged for mercy. At the same time, his eyes were telling the people in the dark not to come up. Although he appeared to be begging for forgiveness, he already had the intention to kill Lin Yu. Even at the old Sea Lord's place, Yang Jing had never suffered such great humiliation. "I have no patience." Lin Yu spoke again. When Yang Jing saw that the pain was alleviated, he naturally understood what Lin Yu meant. The door behind him was immediately opened, revealing the dark world inside. "Yang Jing, are you here to see if this old man is dead?" Behind the door, there was an abandoned hall. Everywhere there was decay and antiquity. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes. It seemed that no one had opened this place for a long time. He flicked the dust near his nose and looked at Fanjinjin. "Has the old Sea Lord been missing for a long time?" "Should be." Fanjinjin's face was solemn. She remembered that the 7th Sea Region had been trading with the 6th Sea Region as usual. Could it be that this place had been controlled by Yang Jing a long time ago? "He's inside." Yang Jing stopped and did not answer the question from the ancient hall. "Follow me in." Lin Yu swept past Yang Jing and continued forward. Fanjinjin also did not dare to leave Lin Yu's side, holding his hand tightly. Even she could feel the gradually approaching murderous intent behind them. This time there was no disturbance from Fanjian. If he came, Lin Yu and Fanjinjin were so intimate now, wouldn't he be so angry that he would vomit blood again? "Yang Jing, you brought someone here?" In the center of the ancient hall, in a pile of broken stones, the three of them saw an old man lying dispiritedly. The three of them approached. The old man also made some movements. But this movement allowed Fanjinjin and Lin Yu to see that his hands and feet were all bound by pitch-black iron chains. Boundless iron essence. It can trap a 4 divisions expert. Fanjinjin immediately recognized the iron chains. Who are you?" The old man's eyes also saw Fan Jinjin and Lin Yu. A woman and a mortal? Why did Yang Jing bring them here? Uncle Xiao, I'm Fan Jinjin. Fan Jinjin immediately introduced herself and stated her identity. Seeing the confused expression of the old Sea Lord of the Seventh Sea region, she explained again, Fan Tong is my father. Jinjin. Xiao Yinyao's old face immediately aged a lot. You were also captured by Yang Jing? Is my brother Fan Tong in prison now? No, father is fine. Fan Jinjin was afraid that he would be worried and immediately explained, Uncle Xiao, we're here to save you. You're silly. Go, go. Xiao Yinyao wanted to wave his hand and ask Fan Jinjin to leave, but his hand was too big. The handcuffs in his hand extended a barb and directly pierced his wrist. Fresh blood flowed down. However, Xiao Yinyao did not frown at all. It was as if he had suffered this kind of pain countless times and was used to it. Fan Jinjin could hear the concern in Uncle Zhao's words. This was her father's sworn brother. Seeing that Xiao Yinyao was injured, Fan Jinjin immediately stepped forward and took out a pill to treat Xiao Yinyao. Untie. Lin Yu calmly said. However, at this moment, just as Fan Jinjin passed by Yang Jing, the latter grabbed her by the neck. Fan Jinjin was tightly held by one of Yang Jing's hands. At the same time, the army outside the hall all rushed in at this moment. Let go of this child. Xiao Yinyao roared angrily. His limbs affected the handcuffs and blood flowed out. Kid, hand over the antidote or you will all die today. Fan Jinjin's life was in Yang Jing's hands. Yang Jing thought that he could threaten Lin Yu with this. Will you let me go if I hand over the antidote? Lin Yu raised the corner of his mouth and looked at Fan Jinjin unhurriedly. It doesn't matter if you kill her. As long as she is dead, you can't live either. Yang Jing narrowed his eyes. His back was already sweating because of his bet this time. If you dare to do it, I will dare to kill her. I can see that you two have a good relationship along the way. Why? You can't bear to let this girl die, right? Yang Jing threatened. He thought that Lin Yu would give in because of this. However, Lin Yu smiled faintly and spread out his hands. Women are not important to me. He looked at Yang Jing as if he was looking at a dead man. But I must kill you. Kid, don't force me. Yang Jing clenched his teeth and exerted force. Fan Jinjin's face was full of pain. However, she still held her breath and said, Child Lin Yu, don't worry about me. Kid, if she is dead, even if you go back to the 6th Sea area, Fan Tong will not let you go. Think carefully. Lin Yu heard and laughed. In this sea area, the person who can stop me has not been born yet. At the same time, Lin Yu walked towards Yang Jing step by step. You want to exchange Fan Jinjin's life for yours. Then I will fulfill your wish. Chapter 738. Brat, stop right there. Yang Jing panicked. This brat was walking towards him without any fear that he would kill Fan Jinjin. He's a lunatic. Stop, stop. Yang Jing stared at Lin Yu and increased the strength of his hand. Fan Jinjin's neck was already red, and her face began to gasp for breath. However, Lin Yu's footsteps still didn't stop. Do it, a life for a life. Lin Yu's mouth raised, using Fan Jinjin's life to exchange for your life. Deputy Sea Lord Yang, it's not a loss. His voice and footsteps approached Yang Jing at the same time. No. I'm losing. I'm losing. Until Lin Yu walked in front of Yang Jing, the latter's body was already trembling nonstop. Only then did he understand that the young man in front of him was indeed a devil. Do it, if you do it, I will do it immediately. Lin Yu's eyes were calm as he looked at Yang Jing, making the latter feel that he was looking at a dead man. But he, Yang Jing, didn't want to die. I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yang Jing's arm trembled. I don't want to do it, I don't want to die. The moment he loosened his grip, Lin Yu struck out with his palm at lightning speed. This palm was so fast that it made the space crackle. A broken sound swept past Fan Jinjin's ear and directly hit Yang Jing. Puff, The latter instantly retreated, unable to make things difficult for Fan Zhenzhen. You tricked me! Fan Zhenzhen was held in Lin Yu's arms. At this moment, Yang Jing finally understood that the other party's purpose from the beginning was to get close to him and wait for him to relax. He would save Fan Zhenzhen. But Yang Jing knew that he was cheated. Antidote, give me the antidote! Yang Jing roared as the army swarmed forward. As long as he gave the order, they would all attack Lin Yu and Fan Zhenzhen. When I had a hostage in my hand, you weren't my opponent, let alone now. Lin Yu smiled. Yang Jing's pupils dilated because he saw Lin Yu's hand, the blood sacrificial heart. That was his lifeline. Stop! Yang Jing rushed over, but his movements could only stop in midair. Because Lin Yu had crushed the blood sacrificial heart. Rumble! A violent shockwave bombarded Kai Yang's body. It was the self-detonation of his cultivation and body. What is this? What is this? Yang Jing looked at Lin Yu in despair. This time, he really regretted it. He shouldn't have tested Lin Yu and challenged this seemingly gentle youth. This person cannot be provoked. Rumble! A ninth Dao equalization realm expert had self-destructed. Violent energy swept out in all directions. Those who were slightly closer to Yang Jing were all affected at this moment and were directly blown to smithereens. It wasn't just the area around Yang Jing that was collapsing. Even the enormous palace was collapsing. Lin Yu casually waved his right hand. Azura of the Taishu 8 tribes transformed into a gigantic being that covered the sky and enveloped Lin Yu, Fan Zhenzhen, and Xiao Yenyao. Ping ping ping. Apart from Azura, the army at the front was all affected by Yang Jing's self-destruction and tens of thousands of casualties. As for the others, they looked at all this with horror. Their deputy Sea Lord, the high and mighty Yang Jing, died just like that. Everything happened so quickly that they didn't have time to react. But this was the truth. Yang Jing was dead and tens of thousands of the army were affected. You, who are you? The army stared at Lin Yu in Azura with vigilance. They had already seen that the initiator of all this was this young man. As for Fan Zhenzhen, who was protected by Lin Yu, her eyes were bright and her heart couldn't help but beat faster. She looked at the tyrannical Azura phantoms around her, as well as the collapsing world outside the phantoms. It was as if being in Lin Yu's arms was the safest place in the world. Young Master Lin. Fan Zhenzhen's pretty face was flushed. At this moment, the girl was experiencing her first awakening of love. Everyone retreat. I am the 7th Sea Lord. Xiao Yenyao recovered from the shock of Yang Jing's death. Although he didn't understand how Lin Yu killed Yang Jing, he was still puzzled. But at this moment, Xiao Yenyao could clearly distinguish between friend and foe. Sea Lord. Old Sea Lord. The army of the 7th Sea Lord immediately recognized the voice of the old man with messy hair. What? You don't even recognize me now? After following Yang Jing for so long, have you all rebelled? Xiao Yenyao shouted sternly. Those who had seen his rule all knelt down in fear. Sea Lord, please forgive us. Sea Lord, please spare our lives. Yang Jing said that the old Sea Lord was seriously ill and had been in seclusion for 10,000 years. We didn't know, those people wanted to explain. But Xiao Yenyao only smiled coldly. He already knew. In this world, the strong were respected and the weak were prey to the strong. He had declined and let Yang Jing take his place. It was a fact that these subordinates had submitted to Yang Jing. As for the reason, it wasn't important whether it was because he was seriously ill or whether these people knew that he was seriously ill. You don't know that I'm still alive? Xiao Yenyao also gave the other party a way out. Yes, we didn't know that the old Sea Lord was still alive. Otherwise, we wouldn't have let Yang Jing do whatever he wanted. Forget it. Leave. Xiao Yenyao let out a long sigh. Seeing this, the army also left the hall. Only Lin Yu and Fan Zhenzhen were left here. Zhenzhen. Uncle Xiao. Fan Zhenzhen stepped forward. She saw Xiao Yinyao withdraw his anger from earlier and said, "Is your father well?" Hearing this, Fan Jinjin's eyes immediately burst into tears. "Uncle Xiao, please save the 6th Sea Lord." She knelt down. Seeing this, Xiao Yinyao knew that the situation was not good. What happened to the 6th Sea Lord? Fan Jinjin truthfully explained the situation. After hearing this, Xiao Yinyao couldn't suppress his anger. Damn it! This old man hates the 8th Sea Lord the most. Yang Jing, this traitor, you actually cooperated with the people of the 8th Sea Lord. He was so angry that he shook the chains around him. His limbs were once again injured by those barbs and blood seeped out. "Uncle Xiao, please don't move." Fan Jinjin couldn't bear it and immediately persuaded him. At the same time, she squatted down and tried to untie Xiao Yinyao's shackles. However, even though she exerted all her strength, the shackles still didn't move at all. "It's useless." Xiao Yinyao sighed and shook his head. "That bastard specially made this thing to deal with me. If this old man was at his peak, perhaps I could break it, but unfortunately," Xiao Yinyao said helplessly, "more than 90% of my cultivation has been absorbed by that bastard." He glanced at the cultivation of Fan Jinjin and Lin Yu. Even with the help of the people outside, it would be impossible for them to break the shackles in a short time. Moreover, Xiao Yinyao didn't want those fence-sitters outside to know. So even just now, he deliberately acted natural. Those people were quite a distance away because of Yang Jing's self-explosion, so they didn't notice the shackles on Xiao Yinyao's limbs. "Uncle Xiao, is there no other way?" Fan Jinjin's eyes were filled with tears, but no matter how she pulled, the shackles didn't move. Chapter 739. Not only could she not undo the shackles, but because of Fan Jinjin's actions, Xiao Yinyao's wound was affected and started bleeding. This scene frightened Fan Jinjin, and she immediately put down her hand. "There is a way, but if you can find a killing weapon above Earth grade, maybe you can break these shackles." Fan Jinjin wiped her tears and took out a pile of weapons from her storage ring. "Huang grade, Xian grade, but there is no Earth grade." Fan Jinjin stomped her feet in anger. "Maybe my father has it. I remember that brother Fan Tong doesn't have it either. There are 7 grades of weapons, among which high-grade killing weapons are extremely rare. Your 6th Sea region may have Earth-grade defensive equipment, but it is rare to have a killing weapon." Xiao Yinyao seemed to know Fan Tong very well. Hearing this, Fan Jinjin's whole body became dispirited. Lin Yu glanced at the Xian-grade weapon that Fan Jinjin took out. Touching his chin, Lin Yu thought to himself, "Isn't this thing an ordinary spirit weapon in the Sky Desert universe? If a Xian-grade weapon is so, then an Earth-grade weapon is probably nothing." Thinking of this, Lin Yu took out a wooden handle from his storage ring. As soon as the Emperor's sword was taken out, the handle became its own sword body. A fierce aura instantly filled the hall. Fan Jinjin and Xiao Yinyao immediately looked over and were startled. "Is this an Earth-grade weapon?" Lin Yu asked. He didn't know what the grade of an Emperor artifact in the Sky Desert universe was called in this world. He was also a little curious. Xiao Yinyao's breathing became rapid, and so did Fan Jinjin. "Young Master Lin Yu, where did you get this?" "It's my own, where can I get it from?" Lin Yu was speechless. "By the way, what grade is this?" "Heaven. Heaven-grade killing weapon," Xiao Yinyao said in a hoarse voice. "I didn't expect a heaven-grade weapon to appear in my 7th Sea region. Heaven didn't kill me. Heaven didn't kill me. This is mine, not the 7th Sea region's," Lin Yu said calmly and put away the Emperor's sword, fearing that the old man would order to rob it. This old man misspoke. Xiao Yinyao withdrew his gaze. He knew that he had said something wrong. That weapon did indeed belong to Lin Yu. It had nothing to do with the 7th Sea. Lin Yu saw that Xiao Yinyao had calmed down and knew that the other party was just blindly excited. He had no ill intentions. "Young Master Lin Yu, could you please help us again?" Fan Zhenzhen pleaded and pulled Lin Yu's sleeve. Xiao Yinyao also cupped his hands together. Even though his wrist was still bleeding, he had no choice but to do the same to Lin Yu. Little friend, if you are willing to help, you will forever be the benefactor of the 7th Sea region. Lin Yu blinked and immediately said righteously, "It's our duty to help when we see injustice. Senior, there's no need to be courteous." This was the second time Fan Zhenzhen had heard this sentence. Seeing injustice on the road, he would draw his sword to help. "Young master, you are a true hero." Fan Zhenzhen's eyes were filled with adoration. She happily pulled Lin Yu's hand. In a day's time, the physical contact between her and Lin Yu had become very natural. It was the first time Fan Zhenzhen had such contact with a man in her life. "Step back." Lin Yu reminded and waved the Emperor's sword. Seeing this, Xiao Yinyao was so scared that his little brother shrank back. "Little friend, don't be anxious. Try one by one." However, Lin Yu would not do such a troublesome thing. The sword turned into 4 qi and shot out explosively. "Oh my God!" Fan Zhenzhen and Xiao Yinyao were shocked. The sound of gold and jade rang out 4 times at the same time. The shackles that tightly bound Xiao Yinyao's limbs were instantly cut off. Lin Yu controlled the sword qi accurately. The sword qi did not even touch Xiao Yinyao's original wound. "So powerful. Young Master Lin, you are so powerful." "Little friend, many thanks." Xiao Yinyao was overjoyed. He moved his arms and legs and was amazed by Lin Yu's sword Dao. "I did not expect little friend to have such a profound sword Dao at such a young age. I am afraid that you can compete with the Heaven's Pride in the boundless sea." Lin Yu nodded casually. He did not care about these praises. What he cared more about was that when he waved the Emperor's sword just now, he could clearly feel that the Emperor's sword was much more powerful than before. Could it be that the laws of the boundless sea and the boundless sea were different? Even the Emperor's sword's power had increased greatly. No wonder the Emperor's sword was called a heaven-grade weapon here. The current Emperor's sword was indeed 1 grade stronger than when it was in the boundless sea. If Lin Yu had not restrained 70% of his power at the last moment, Xiao Yinyao's limbs would have been broken. "Little friend, may I know how to address you?" "Lin Yu." "Lin Yu, little friend, is from the heaven domain?" Xiao Yinyao's eyes widened as he looked at Lin Yu in surprise. "I don't know," Lin Yu said truthfully. No matter what, he was from the heaven domain. "I see." Xiao Yinyao stroked his beard. "This old man almost understands. Little friend, may I know how this old man will repay this great kindness?" "Let's talk about it later." Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and looked at Fan Zhenzhen. "You should help this silly girl first." At the same time, Lin Yu stroked Fan Zhenzhen's head. Fan Zhenzhen felt warmth in her heart. Her feelings for Lin Yu became even more indescribable. "Uncle Xiao, please send troops to help my 6th sea. Now, the people of the 8th sea. You don't need to say any more." Xiao Yinyao interrupted Fan Zhenzhen's words and immediately shouted, "Men, immediately send troops to the 6th sea." When the people outside saw Xiao Yinyao walk out, their expressions involuntarily became serious. On this day, the 7th sea was once again under its original master. The army moved out. They marched toward the 6th sea domain. Lin Yu and Fan Zhenzhen stood at the front of the warship. Xiao Yinyao's injuries were too serious, so he did not come in person. Instead, he gave all his authority to Fan Zhenzhen. Fan Tong and Xiao Yinyao were friends, so he could completely trust Fan Zhenzhen. Lin Yu also remembered Fan Tong's feelings for Xiao Yinyao. Otherwise, he would not have let Fan Zhenzhen bring only a few people to the 7th sea to ask for reinforcements. He believed that Xiao Yinyao would not harm Fan Zhenzhen. However, Fan Tong did not know that his sworn brother's power had long been taken away by Yang Jing. "Gongzi Lin Yu, if it were not for you, I would not have been able to complete this mission." Fan Zhenzhen could not help but sigh as she looked at the mighty army. She looked so weak, but in reality, she was shouldering a great responsibility. I only did something that did not go against my conscience. You don't have to worry about it, Lin Yu said honestly. As for what his conscience was, he did not need to explain it to Fan Jinjin. However, when she heard Lin Yu's words, Fan Jinjin's eyes were filled with admiration. This was the first time she had seen such a sense of justice, so calm in his actions. Moreover, Lin Yu's hidden depths had shocked her time and time again. If my father sees you, he will definitely like you, Fan Jinjin could not help but say. But as soon as she said it, she knew she was wrong. Chapter 740. Also, Lin Yu smiled. Thank you for your kindness. Fan Jinjin turned her face away, not daring to look at Lin Yu. Lin Yu, of course, didn't know that Fan Jinjin, who was on the other side, had already blushed and became hot. She had unintentionally confessed her love for him. The army approached the 6th sea. The two seas were close to each other, so it wouldn't take much time. Ji Tsongliang, you and I are irreconcilable enemies. As soon as they entered the 6th sea, Lin Yu heard a loud voice. Father! Fan Jinjin recognized the voice as her father, Fan Tong. Fan Tong, however, seemed to have sustained severe injuries. Speed up! Fan Jinjin ordered. Hee, Fan Tong, today I will slaughter your 6th sea and take your treasures. No one can stop me. A black-robed leader in the 8th sea sneered. More than half of the people in the 6th sea had died. The remaining forces were not worth mentioning. They were all gathered here. Although they couldn't take down the 6th sea in a short time, Ji Tsongliang, the lord of the 8th sea, was sure that it was only a matter of time before they took the 6th sea. Bastard, if my brother can come, I will make sure you don't return. Fan Tong stared at Ji Tsongliang. He felt helpless. His daughter and disciple, Fan Jian, went out to look for reinforcements. Given his relationship with the 7th sea, he should have returned long ago. But only the injured Fan Jian came back yesterday. He was still hiding in the palace and didn't say a word. Even though Fan Tong was anxious, Fan Jian only said that his junior sister was still looking for reinforcements. Now that Fan Tong was in prison, he gave up. Your brother can't even save himself. Ji Tsongliang laughed cruelly. He and Yang Jing had been planning to meddle in the affairs of the two seas for a long time. It was all for today. How could they let Fan Jinjin affect the situation? As for your daughter, she might have become Yang Jing's slave. Ji Tsongliang laughed. He ordered the army to attack the 6th sea again. Bastard, this old man will smash your mouth. Fan Tong yelled. He had lost his wife a long time ago, and his only daughter, Fan Jinjin, was his biggest weakness. Jinjin is smart. Nothing will happen to him. Fan Tong comforted himself. Now, he only liked Fan Jinjin. If she couldn't find any reinforcements, she shouldn't have come back to make a meaningless sacrifice. It's a pity that I haven't found a suitable son-in-law to carry on my ancestral line. Fan Tong roared, warriors of the 6th sea, charge. I'd rather die than submit. Kill. The army's roar was deafening. The battle was about to begin. As for the 6th sea domain, even though they were seething with anger, they couldn't change the fact that they were completely defeated. Ji Tsongliang laughed heartily. Take them down quickly for this seat. He wanted to take half of the spoils before splitting them with Yang Jing. However, at this moment, a large number of warships were approaching from the entrance of the 6th sea. Ji Tsongliang glanced sideways. Could it be that Yang Jing can't hold back anymore? Damn it, this seat worked so hard to take down the 6th sea. Just because that kid killed Xiao Yenyao, I have to share it with him. Even though they were in a cooperative relationship, Ji Tsongliang was still somewhat unwilling to let Yang Jing take away so much of the spoils for no reason. The 7th sea, is my big brother finally here? When Fan Tong saw the approaching army, a smile blossomed on his face. Brother Xiao, your sworn brother has been waiting for you for a long time. Idiot. Ji Tsongliang involuntarily let out a laugh. His mocking voice reverberated in all directions. Xiao Yin Yao has already died in Yang Jing's hands. The current 7th Sea region is controlled by my younger brother, Yang Jing. Fan Tong, you don't even know this. You really live up to your name of being a rice bucket. Impossible, my brother's cultivation is unparalleled and has stepped into the 4 divisions state. How could Yang Jing hurt him? Fan Tong didn't believe it, but looking at the rapidly approaching army of the 7th Sea, he was still a little worried. If these people weren't his reinforcements, but Yang Jing's men, wouldn't it directly take the 6th Sea's life? Fan Tong, you and Xiao Yenyao are old. You don't know that in this world there are many ways to hurt people. Ji Tsongliang turned around and welcomed the incoming army of the 7th Sea. My brother Yang Jing is a smart man. He has many ways, right, brother? However, when the leading warship approached, they saw the person who led the 7th Sea. It wasn't Yang Jing, nor Xiao Yenyao. Fan Jinjin. And this kid, who is he? Fan Jinjin shouted across the air, Father, I'm here. Ji Tsongliang was in a bad mood. He stepped forward and immediately asked, Yang Jing sent you. Is Fan Jinjin a hostage? What do you think? Lin Yu raised the corner of his mouth, thinking that Ji Tsongliang was a fool. Young master. Fan Jinjin glanced at Lin Yu, wanting to know what he was thinking. Even though she was the leader, Fan Jinjin couldn't help but let Lin Yu make the decision. The latter smiled faintly. Since they're here, let's kill them. Leave no one alive in the 8th Sea. Okay. Fan Jinjin's blood was boiling. With Lin Yu's words, she didn't hesitate to give the order. Retreat and be careful of your back. Ji Tsongliang's face changed greatly. In an instant, the battle broke out again. Originally, the 8th Sea was besieging the 6th Sea. Now, the 8th Sea was attacked from the front and back, while the 6th Sea was at the front. Fan Tong saw his daughter personally leading the army, so he endured his injuries and led the remaining troops to counterattack. Behind Ji Tsongliang, hundreds of warships of the 7th Sea were rushing over. Damn it, where the hell is Yang Jing? Who do you listen to? Ji Tsongliang roared. No matter how he thought about it, he thought that Yang Jing was here to share the spoils. But what was the situation now? Why was an unknown kid commanding the army? The battle quickly became one-sided. The 8th Sea had been fighting the 6th Sea for more than half a month. Although the 8th Sea had the upper hand, there were still many casualties. With the addition of the 7th Sea, how long could the 8th Sea last? Commander, we've taken half of them. The 7th Sea reported to Fan Jinjin. Fan Jinjin immediately looked at Lin Yu. Brother Yu, what is it? Kill. Lin Yu said calmly. It was as if saying this sentence didn't matter at all. But this one sentence had decided the lives of millions of people. Listen to Brother Yu, kill. Fan Jinjin didn't hesitate at all. Lin Yu's decision had never been wrong since they met a few days ago. Lin Yu had saved her and Xiao Yanyao's lives. At the same time, the 6th Sea was also saved by Lin Yu. Fan Tong, I won't play with you anymore. Chapter 741. Ji Tsongliang shifted his body and appeared at the edge of the battlefield. He wanted to run. However, in the next moment, a group of people who had been waiting there rushed out from the bottom of the sea. What? Ji Tsongliang was shocked. Why was there a group of people here? He didn't know that Lin Yu had been guarding against him. With Lin Yu's steady strategy, he had absolute confidence in winning the main battle. He had divided some forces to guard the rear just in case. If necessary, he could close the door and attack the enemy. Naturally, there was no problem. As for Ji Tsongliang, when he tried to escape, he was immediately blocked. Bastards, you're courting death! Ji Tsongliang roared. 9 paths of equalization state cultivation erupted, and he blasted out dozens of cyclones with one palm strike. The cyclone whistled from all directions and collided with these people head-on. However, even though Ji Tsongliang's cultivation was extremely high, there were too many people. With 9 paths of equalization state, his attacks were scattered in many directions. The remaining power was enough to block them. This was the feeling of 2 fists being outnumbered. Moreover, Ji Tsongliang was not facing 4 hands, but thousands of hands. Rumble. Battles broke out one after another. Dozens of people on Lin Yu's side died one after another. However, the mission of intercepting Ji Tsongliang was completed. Young Master Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin also noticed the situation and was worried that Ji Tsongliang would kill too many people. It's okay. He can't run away. Lin Yu smiled faintly. In the main battle, as Ji Tsongliang escaped, the army of the 8th Sea was defeated again and again. They kept dying at the hands of the 7th and 6th Sea. At the edge of the battlefield, Ji Tsongliang was trapped for a long time. Even though he had killed many people, he still couldn't escape. Fan Tong, are you really going to kill all of us? Ji Tsongliang stared at Fan Tong, who had completely turned the situation around and was slowly approaching him as the victor. Bastard, if you and I exchanged positions today, I'm afraid I'll end up 100 times worse than you, Fan Tong said angrily. If Fan Jinjin hadn't brought the army to support him, he would have died. Fan Tong and the 6th Sea would have died. Thinking of this, Fan Tong decided to kill them. Attack. Leave no one alive. Yes. Fan Tong, give me a chance. Ji Tsongliang was scared. He immediately clenched his fists and said, I have a secret to tell you. I won't listen. Fan Tong snorted coldly, but Ji Tsongliang's eyes flashed. This matter concerns the whereabouts of the sea burial secret treasure. Are you sure you don't want to hear it? What? Fan Tong stared blankly. All right, tell me, and I'll consider giving you a quick death. Ji Tsongliang shook his head. Then kill me. I want a chance to live, not a quick death. Fan Tong, if you kill me today, I will be the only one who knows this secret. The whereabouts of the sea burial secret treasure will disappear forever because of me. Fan Tong frowned. Ji Tsongliang saw that he was tempted and continued, You have to think carefully. The boundless sea's greatest treasure has been missing for 80,000 years. Today you have the chance to know. If you lose this chance, how many more 80,000 years do you have left? Fine, this old man will spare your life. Fan Tong thought about it for a moment, then decided to compromise. From afar, Lin Yu and Fan Jinjin watched the scene unfold. Fan Jinjin was reluctant. Brother Lin Yu, will father really let that bad guy go? I don't know your father. I should be asking you about this. Lin Yu smiled. He felt that Ji Tsongliang wasn't as simple as he seemed. And Fan Tong seemed to be a little stupid. Fan Tong, there are too many people here. There might be spies from other seas. Are you sure you want me to tell you directly? Ji Tsongliang reminded him again. Fan Tong nodded and took a few steps forward, approaching Ji Tsongliang. Everyone else, step back. Fan Tong ordered. Ji Tsongliang took a few steps forward. Brother Fan, we don't have much of a grudge against each other. Unfortunately, the sea burial secret treasure is related to the 6th Sea, so I have no choice but to start with you. The sea burial secret treasure is related to the 6th Sea? What do you mean? Fan Tong was both amused and shocked. He moved closer to Ji Tsongliang. It all started when Xiao Yenyao was in the 7th Sea. Yang Jing from the 7th Sea came to the 6th Sea once. Do you remember? Ji Tsongliang snickered and took a few more steps forward. Fan Tong was intrigued. If the sea burial secret treasure was related to the 6th Sea, then it was a serious matter. Fan Tong's mood was heavy. I remember. Go on. As soon as Fan Tong finished speaking, Ji Tsongliang's eyes flashed with murderous intent. Not good. Fan Tong realized that he was too close to Ji Tsongliang. Ji Tsongliang's palm energy transformed into a series of afterimages as he struck at Fan Tong with lightning speed. The sound of wind breaking could be heard. Fan Jinjin, who was in the distance, was so scared that she shouted for her father. Fan Tong didn't have time to react. Even if he sensed danger, Ji Tsongliang's palm energy was already upon him. Damn it, damn it! He knew he had been careless. He retreated and even burned his cultivation in exchange for unprecedented speed. But it was too late. Bang! Ji Tsongliang's palm energy came crashing down. Just as Fan Tong thought he was about to be hit, a figure appeared in front of him. That figure's palm met Ji Tsongliang's. The palm energy transformed into 5 rays of light of different colors. They flowed along the arm and formed a vortex that blasted towards Ji Tsongliang. It was the 5 elemental palm. Bang bang! Lin Yu took a step back. He retracted his palm energy. Fan Jinjin rushed over. She grabbed Lin Yu's hand and retreated. Big brother Lin Yu, are you alright? Her eyes glistened with tears. She had rushed over as soon as she could, but Lin Yu had sensed something was wrong with Ji Tsongliang and arrived at the center of the battlefield before her. What touched Fan Jinjin the most was that Lin Yu had risked his life to save her father. I'm fine, Lin Yu said calmly. Right, do you have a handkerchief? Handkerchief? Fan Jinjin was stunned. Only now did she notice that there was some blood on Lin Yu's face. You're injured? Fan Jinjin immediately took out a handkerchief and wiped Lin Yu's face. This isn't mine, Lin Yu said slowly. On the other side, Ji Tsongliang, who had exchanged a palm with Lin Yu, was falling from the sky. Bang! The sound of something crashing to the ground was heard. Everyone saw that Ji Tsongliang had become a corpse. That seemingly harmless young man had killed a 9-path equalization cultivator with 1 palm strike? Big brother Lin Yu, Fan Jinjin was shocked. The blood on Lin Yu's face was Ji Tsongliang's. But how did he do it? Chapter 742. He should be dead, Lin Yu said casually. At the same time, he enjoyed Fan Jinjin's careful wiping of the blood. The others in the 6th Sea witnessed this scene. They were all shocked. Their young Sea Lord had never looked any man in the eye. Since when did she bring in a man that they had never seen before? And why was he taking care of him so considerately? Most shocking of all, it was Fan Tong again. Fan Tong's shock, however, was replaced by sadness. Ahem. Your father's injury is worse. Fan Tong couldn't help but remind her. A grown girl must be married off. Fan Jinjin took a long time to turn around. Dad, are you okay? I'm fine. I won't die. Fan Tong smiled helplessly. Although his heart was bleeding, he could only put on the look of a loving father. Jinjin, who is this? Fan Tong checked Ji Tsongliang's body. After confirming that he couldn't be more dead, he immediately asked Lin Yu about his identity. It was the first time his daughter was so nice to a man. As a father, how could Fan Tong not take good care of his daughter? This is brother Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin knew that Lin Yu was here, so it wasn't a good time to talk about what happened on the way. This kind of small talk could wait until later. The main thing was to give all the credit to Lin Yu for rescuing the 7th Sea. I see. The 6th Sea was saved because of young Master Lin. Fan Tong saluted Lin Yu. Putting aside other factors, this kindness alone was enough for Fan Tong to respect Lin Yu. Don't mention it. Lin Yu smiled faintly and didn't take it to heart. At this time, in a palace in the 6th Sea, Fan Jian had been lying in bed for a whole day. He knew what was going on outside, but he didn't dare to move. He could only be a dead man. This time he went out with Fan Jinjin to get reinforcements, but they didn't come back. Instead, he was left behind by Fan Jinjin and Lin Yu. When he thought of Lin Yu, Fan Jian subconsciously clenched his teeth. This won't do. If I ever see this kid again, I'll definitely take his life. Fan Jian's wounds were almost healed, but he still didn't want to go out. He was afraid that Fan Tong would ask him about the reinforcements. Even now, Fan Jian was hiding in his own palace, unaware of the great battle that had just taken place outside. Not only is Lin Yu going to die, but that bitch Fan Jinjin has never looked me in the eye. Now that there's Lin Yu, she'll ignore me even more. Fan Jian punched the side of the bed. If I can't have it, no one else can. Fan Jinjin, you'd better die in Yang Jing's hands along with that adulterer Lin Yu. Thinking of this, Fan Jian called for help. Eldest senior brother, eldest senior brother. What's with the noise? Could it be that my 6th C has already been breached? No. I didn't. The servant trembled with fear, wanting to say something but hesitating. That's good. Don't panic. Don't let the Ocean Lord think that I don't know how to teach you. Fan Jian's eyes flashed. I let you in because I want you to go around the front line and ask around for me. Eldest senior brother, what do you want us to ask around for? There were 3 people in front of Fan Jian. They were all his confidants in the 6th C, and also his junior brothers. Go to the 7th C and see if there are any traces of Jinjin. Fan Jian said. Afraid that others would suspect, he deliberately let out a long sigh. I went out with Jinjin. I think I've already protected her well, but Jinjin insisted on taking risk. As the eldest senior brother, even if she's impulsive, I'm still worried about her. After saying so much, the 3 people in front of Fan Jian were stunned. What are you waiting for? Go ask around. Remember, if she's alive, you have to see her. If she's dead, you have to bring her back. The 3 people still didn't move. Fan Jian was overjoyed, but his face was full of sorrow. Could it be that junior sister is dead and the news has come? No, no, no. The junior brother leading the 3 knew that Fan Jian had misunderstood. He immediately explained, Junior sister is back. What? Fan Jian opened his eyes wide and jumped off the bed. He didn't have the sickly feeling from before. Is she alive or dead? The 3 junior brothers looked at each other and smiled. One of them said, Of course she's alive. Junior sister is very smart. Not only did she come back alive, but she also brought back reinforcements from the 7th C. Impossible. Fan Jian immediately retorted. The 7th C is not controlled by Xiao Yenyao, but by the Deputy C Lord Yang Jing. I only found out about this when we went to the 7th C. Therefore, Master's face can't be used in front of Yang Jing. How could junior sister ask for reinforcements? Senior brother, junior sister seems to have received the help of a young man to bring back reinforcements. Yes, that kid looks like he's in his teens, but when I look at him, I feel that he's different from us. He's terrifyingly calm. The invaders from the 8th Sea have all been killed by the Sea Lord. I heard that it's all because of that kid. Fan Jian's heartbeat immediately sped up. His breathing became hurried. That kid, is he called Lin Yu? Senior brother, you know him too? No. I don't know him. Fan Jian clenched his teeth. Damn. Not only did the couple not die, but they also brought reinforcements? How could this be? With the strength of Yang Jing and the 7th Sea, Fan Jian was sure that Fan Jinjin and Lin Yu would have died when they ran back. But what was going on now? Did junior sister say anything about me? Fan Jian asked again. The 3 knew that Fan Jian had pursued Fan Jinjin for a few years, but it was like a stone falling into the sea. There was no wave at all. I don't think so. Senior brother, you're injured. You'd better have a good rest. The celebration has begun outside. The 3 thought that Fan Jian would be jealous. Who would have thought that not only did he not, but he also felt relieved. That's good. Junior sister didn't complain. That's the best news. Fan Jian thought so in his heart. But another voice came from outside the door. Fan Jian, the Sea Lord invites you. Is that Supervisor Zhao's voice? The 3 junior brothers could tell that the visitor was Fan Tong's confidant. Senior brother, you're really influential. It seems that even if the Sea Lord won, he didn't forget senior brother's contribution. This time, he actually sent Supervisor Zhao to invite senior brother in person. Yes, senior brother, quickly change your clothes. The Sea Lord and junior sister are both here. There was something fishy going on. Fan Jian's heart tightened. If it was before, he would have enjoyed the flattery of the three. But now, Fan Jian was only left with fear. Supervisor Zhao, I don't feel well, Fan Jian responded. But outside the door, Supervisor Zhao's voice became colder. He said in a commanding tone, "This is the Sea Lord's order. Young Master Fan, quickly change your clothes and come with me." Chapter 743. Senior brother, why are you declining? That's right. Senior brother, you're shy. Hurry up and go. The Ocean Lord and Junior Sister are both here. The three disciples were also looking forward to it with joy. That's enough. You can leave now. Fan Jian's face was ashen. He knew this was not a simple matter. The three disciples were sent out. In fact, they had long wanted to go to the celebration. Too lazy to bother with Fan Jian, they left immediately. After a long while, Fan Jian walked out. He was brought to the celebration. Many places in the Sixth Ocean were destroyed because of the war. But everyone's faces were filled with joy and excitement. This was the joy of a new life. But this joy was ironic to Fan Jian. Senior brother. Senior brother. Along the way, many people greeted Fan Jian and shared the joy of victory. However, Fan Jian had a fake smile on his face. After a few casual exchanges, Fan Jian arrived at the celebration. Fan Jian, you're here. Fan Tong glanced at him, then looked at one of the seats. Sit. Okay. Fan Jian nodded and sat in his seat. He saw Lin Yu and Fan Jinjin sitting opposite him. At this moment, Fan Jinjin was sitting next to Lin Yu. There was no distance between the two of them. They whispered in each other's ears, chatting happily. When this scene fell into Fan Jian's eyes, he had the urge to kill someone. I heard from Steward Zhao that you haven't recovered from your injuries? Fan Tong asked. He interrupted Fan Jian's thoughts of staring at Lin Yu and Fan Tong. He turned to Fan Tong and bowed. Much better. Thank you, Master. Very good. Fan Tong nodded in satisfaction, then looked at Fan Jinjin. Junior sister. Fan Jian was afraid that Fan Jinjin would mention the trouble he caused along the way, so he bowed to Fan Jinjin first. Junior sister, you're finally back. I was so worried that you were in danger. Fan Jinjin looked at him coldly. She could have made things difficult for Fan Jian. But when she remembered how Fan Jian took care of her in the past, she couldn't be bothered to argue with him. Thank you for your concern, senior brother. Fan Jinjin replied casually, but she was polite and emotionless. Fan Jian nodded awkwardly and didn't say anything else. Fan Tong, who was seated at the head of the table, first began to pay tribute to the souls of the Sixth Sea who had died in the battle. Only then did the celebration begin. Since you young people already know each other, I won't waste my breath to introduce you. Fan Tong smiled. It's all thanks to Sir Lin Yu's help that the Sixth Sea domain was able to avert disaster. A loud and clear voice sounded. Everyone in the Sixth Sea looked at Lin Yu, whom Fan Tong was pointing at. Sir Lin, thank you for saving my life. Sir Lin, thank you for saving my life. Many people in the Sixth Sea expressed their kindness and gratitude to Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin also praised Lin Yu many times. Father, did you know that young Master Lin's alchemy skills are also very impressive? At first, I thought that young Master Lin didn't know how to cultivate. But later, I realized that I had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Young Master Lin's skills are much stronger than mine. And that Yang Jing, when I first went there, he made things difficult for me. But when young Master Lin made a move, Yang Jing was so scared that he knelt down and begged for mercy. Fan Jinjin kept praising Lin Yu. All the people in the Sixth Sea domain looked at Lin Yu with admiration. Fan Tong, who was seated at the head of the table, was also delighted and praised Lin Yu even more. Sir Lin, you have done a great favor for the Sixth Sea domain. How do you want us to repay you? Just tell us. As long as I, Fan Tong, can do it, I will do my best to satisfy you. Fan Jian heard Fan Tong's words and his heart sank. If Lin Yu asked Fan Jinjin to marry him, Fan Tong seemed to agree. If he couldn't become Fan Jinjin's man, then how could he, Fan Jian, be the Sea Lord in the future? Moreover, Fan Jian was sitting opposite Lin Yu, but it was like day and night, lonely. Especially when he saw Fan Tong's eyes. It was a kind of absolute appreciation. Fan Jian had never looked at him with such appreciation. Father and daughter were the same. The flame of jealousy rose in Fan Jian's heart. Junior sister, you are exaggerating. When we met Deputy Sea Lord Yang Jing, the three of us were embarrassed by him. I didn't see anything special about Sir Lin. Fan Jian's voice came. It attracted a lot of attention. The people in the 6th Sea domain heard the suspicion in Fan Jian's words. The 3 disciples among them were surprised. Didn't Fan Jian say that he didn't know Lin Yu? How did he know him now? Senior brother, you also know Sir Lin Yu? Of course I know him. Fan Jian smiled coldly. If it weren't for Sir Lin Yu, I wouldn't have been seriously injured. Hearing this, Lin Yu's eyes were still calm. But Fan Jinjin couldn't sit still. She didn't blame Fan Jian for being a hindrance, but she didn't expect Fan Jian to make trouble for Lin Yu. Senior brother, what do you mean? Fan Jinjin's cold voice came. Did I say something wrong? Junior sister, don't be fooled by this kid's words. Fan Jian shook his head helplessly and saluted Fan Tong with an indignant face. Master, it's like this. At that time, Deputy Sea Lord Yang Jing asked us to refine a celestial fate pill. We refined it as promised, and the matter of sending troops had already been decided. Fan Jinjin was furious and wanted to refute. At that time, Yang Jing clearly just sent them away. She and Lin Yu were unwilling to give up, so they returned to the 7th Sea Domain's base camp. When did Yang Jing decide to send troops to us? Let him continue. Lin Yu held Fan Jinjin down. He was not in a hurry to refute Fan Jian. Since the other party wanted to hit the muzzle of the gun, Lin Yu didn't mind getting rid of this idiot. At least Lin Yu still remembered that the first time he returned to Yang Jing's base camp, it was this kid who exposed him and Fan Jinjin. Deputy Sea Lord Yang agreed to send troops, and we were ready to leave the 7th Sea Domain, but this kid instigated Junior Sister to go back and eavesdrop on Deputy Sea Lord Yang's secrets. Fan Jian's voice was filled with tears. Because of this, Vice Sea Master Yang caught us on the spot. The people of the 7th Sea were enraged and surrounded us. If I hadn't protected Junior Apprentice Sister and escaped first, I'm afraid we would have all died there. Unfortunately, Junior Sister disappeared in the end, and I was injured, so I could only come back with the warship. Fan Jian pointed at Lin Yu. It was him. I didn't have to be injured, and the 7th Sea Domain could send troops. It was this kid who almost killed Junior Sister and me. Fan Jian, are you telling the truth? Fan Tong's deep voice came. But Fan Jian had already made up his mind. Instead of waiting for Fan Jinjin to complain, he would rather confuse the truth. What I said is absolutely true. Fan Jian said with certainty. Even without this kid, the 7th Sea Domain would have helped us. Originally, I didn't want to explain anything, but this kid. Pointing at Lin Yu, Fan Jian continued. He bewitched Junior Sister and took all the credit for himself. I'm not a person who takes credit, but this time, I really can't stand it anymore. Chapter 744. My junior sister and I were the ones who called for reinforcement. It has nothing to do with an outsider. He bowed to Fan Tong again. Master, please uphold justice and kick this outsider out. Fan Jian, don't talk about Sir Lin like that. Fan Jinjin was furious. You almost got us killed. What does that have to do with Sir Lin? Junior sister, let me ask you one thing. Was it Lin Yu's idea to return to the 7th Sea region? That's because, before Fan Jinjin could speak, Fan Jian interrupted again. It's fine as long as it was his idea. Did we offend Vice Ocean Lord Yang Jing by returning to the 7th Sea region? You're the one who caused this. Fan Jinjin's breath quickened. She gritted her teeth. It was the first time she'd seen such a shameless person. She used to respect Fan Jian's identity as the eldest senior brother. But today, Fan Jinjin finally saw Fan Jian's true colors. I went back to save you. If I hadn't gone back, how could you have escaped after offending Vice Ocean Lord Yang Jing? Fan Jian snorted. If I hadn't begged Vice Ocean Lord Yang Jing, how could he have sent troops to save the 6th Sea region? You! Fan Jinjin was so angry that she wanted to rush out and kill Fan Jian. But Lin Yu held her back again. If you tell too many lies, you'll make mistakes. Lin Yu swirled the teacup in his hand. His lazy and calm voice was heard. If a lie is wrong, you'll have to tell more lies to cover it up. In the end, there will be more and more flaws. Kid, what nonsense are you talking about? Fan Jian stared at Lin Yu. He thought he was very smart. He thought he could come up with such a brilliant plan to checkmate Lin Yu when he was about to be punished. Fan Jian, you said you asked Yang Jing for help? Fan Tong's voice sounded. He had just turned away from Lin Yu when he heard the meaning in Lin Yu's words. That's right. I asked Vice Ocean Lord Yang Jing for help. Before Fan Jian could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Fan Tong. Have you met my sworn brother, Xiao Yanyao? Never. Fan Jian immediately shook his head. Now, Deputy Sea Lord Yang Jing is in charge of the 7th Sea. He only agreed to help because of my persuasion. On the way here, Fan Jian had already seen the army of the 7th Sea retreating. In other words, no one could prove that he was lying. As for Lin Yu, Fan Jian knew that as long as he killed him, it wouldn't matter whether he was telling the truth or not. How could a dead person seek justice for himself? Fan Jian was also thinking about what to do next. As long as he got the credit, Fan Tong would betroth Fan Jinjin to him. Then, he could sleep with Fan Jinjin and take away her most precious possession. Fan Jian believed that he could make this proud goddess submit to him. I see. Fan Tong had a smile on his face, but his eyes were as cold as ice. Then how did you persuade Yang Jing? As soon as he said that, Fan Jinjin snorted coldly. Let's see how you're going to continue lying. It's like this. Fan Jian had already thought of an excuse. He kept talking for the time it took to drink a cup of tea, which infuriated Fan Jinjin. What do you mean you refined the celestial fate pill? What do you mean you exchanged the recipe for the celestial fate pill with Yang Jing? That recipe was Lin Yu's. Enough, junior sister. Fan Jian snorted. It seems you've been deceived by this kid and can't tell right from wrong. I'm very disappointed in you. Interesting story. Fan Tong heaved a long sigh. Guards. Yes, sir. The guards of the celebration hall were summoned. Fan Jian's lips curled in delight, thinking that Fan Tong was going to make a move on Lin Yu. Master, I've thought of something else. This kid's origins are unknown. Perhaps he's a spy from another sea. Why don't you hand him over to me, and I'll take him down and make him confess everything. Master, Fan Jian wanted to say more, but his hands and feet were restrained by the guards. What are you doing? Why did you tie me up? Lin Yu is right there. You're the one we're tying up. Fan Tong's angry voice sounded from the seat of honor. My sworn brother personally sent me a letter explaining the situation. Lin Yu is not only a benefactor of the 6th Sea, he's a benefactor of the 7th Sea. He was the one who killed Yang Jing and saved my big brother. At the same time, he also saved us. And you, a petty person, are so narrow-minded that your jealousy has clouded your mind. You actually want to take all the credit. You're so narrow-minded. I was blind to have taken you in as a disciple. Fan Tong's thunderous voice boomed through the hall. Fan Jian finally realized that Lin Yu had killed Yang Jing. Then wouldn't everything he said just now be a confession without being pressed? Master, cut the crap. Take him away and send him to the North Gate. He's not allowed near the 6th Sea's main camp ever again. Master, the north gate is for dumping dung and water. Master! Fan Jian roared. The guards couldn't restrain him, and Fan Tong's fury flared. With a wave of his hand, he slammed a palm into Fan Jian's chest. Fan Jian's entire body flew out, and his body staggered as he fell to his knees. You don't have to learn, or you can come back on your own. But you shouldn't have twisted the truth and harmed our benefactor. Fan Tong's thunderous voice boomed through the hall. His 9th-level equalization realm cultivation suppressed Fan Jian. Fan Jian lost all resistance and was stripped of his clothes. Sir Lin. Fan Tong looked apologetically at Lin Yu. It's my fault for not teaching you properly. I almost caused you to suffer an injustice. I beg for your forgiveness. Standing up, Fan Tong walked up to Lin Yu. The two looked at each other at eye level. Fan Tong bowed and apologized to Lin Yu. Fan Tong's sincerity was evident from the fact that a mighty lord of a sea was apologizing to a junior. It's fine. Lin Yu nodded. Fan Tong seemed like a good person after all. The celebration continued. Lin Yu didn't ask for a reward. After all he needed was the 6th sea. Now, both the 6th sea and the 7th sea owed him a favor. Favors seemed illusory and had no real value at all. But for people like Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao, who had a lot of face, they had to be careful. Getting them to owe him a favor was much harder to come by than asking for treasures. Big brother Lin Yu, I'm sorry. Fan Jinjin also apologized many times. Lin Yu had helped her so much, but she couldn't do anything for him. The main reason was that Fan Jian was too talkative. It's fine. It's over. Lin Yu patted Fan Jinjin's hand. Don't mention it again, okay? Okay. Fan Jinjin nodded obediently and smiled. Big brother Lin Yu, the north gate stinks. Don't worry, Fan Jian will suffer in the future. Chapter 745. I don't care if Fan Jian is a scumbag or not. You, on the other hand, get tired of the old so quickly. Lin Yu teased. Fan Jinjin blushed and lowered her head. I don't like you. Ahem. Lin Yu coughed. I'm talking about your dislike of Fan Jian. Didn't you like him before? I didn't. Fan Jinjin cared a lot about Lin Yu's thoughts. Jinjin has always kept a distance from Fan Jian. I just treated him as an ordinary senior fellow apprentice without any other feelings. Jinjin has never liked someone as much as now. Lin Yu nodded in satisfaction. I've never liked someone as much as I do now. Who do you like? Me. Fan Jinjin's face turned red. You're so annoying. The celebration ended. All of Fan Jinjin's joy that night was witnessed by Fan Tong. He could see that Fan Jinjin liked Lin Yu. Master Lin, I have something to tell you. After the celebration ended, everyone left. Fan Tong asked Lin Yu to stay. Father, why are you looking for Master Lin? Fan Jinjin asked. I just want to ask about Master Lin. You can leave first. Fan Tong explained, but Fan Jinjin was worried. Father, don't mess around. Nonsense, you're the one messing around. This is between Father and Master Lin. You can leave first. Fan Tong was furious. What? You don't want to be separated from Master Lin for even a moment. Father, what nonsense are you talking about? Fan Jinjin blushed even more and turned her face away, not daring to look at Lin Yu. You can leave first. Lin Yu had to say. Master, be careful. Fan Jinjin reminded him and walked out of the hall. Only Lin Yu and Fan Tong were left in the hall. Fan Tong heard Fan Jinjin's last sentence and smiled helplessly. Master, be careful? What did she think I would do to you? Don't be offended, Ocean Lord. Lin Yu smiled to ease the awkward atmosphere. But to Fan Tong, this was even more infuriating. She's my daughter, so why should I be offended? She's making it seem like I'm an outsider. A grown girl cannot be kept at home. A grown girl can't be kept at home. Fan Tong cursed inwardly. It took him a while to regain his composure. Sir Lin, you don't seem to be from the Boundless Sea? Lin Yu came from the world beneath the realm sea. Lin Yu said honestly. Beneath the realm sea. Fan Tong was surprised. I heard that there was a reverse current on the west side of the Sixth Sea. It seems to be the collapse of the seabed. Is it related to young Master Lin Yu? It should be. My original world has been submerged by the water. Lin Yu smiled helplessly. Fan Tong's gaze was solemn. He was wary of Lin Yu. Then why was your previous world submerged? How many people were there? Lin Yu knew that his old father wouldn't ask him clearly about his affairs. He wouldn't let him off today. Helplessly, he gave him a rough explanation. So that's how it is. This is the first time I've heard that there are other worlds beneath the realm sea. And according to your description, that place isn't small. It's comparable to a third of the realm sea. Lin Yu blinked. He didn't know how big the realm sea was. But Fan Tong's judgment should be accurate. After all, he was one of the sea lords here. Young Master Lin has friends in this world? Yes, but we got separated. Fan Tong nodded. Do you have a wife or son among them? Lin Yu smiled awkwardly. I'm not married. That's for the best. Fan Tong's brows relaxed. Don't worry, young Master Lin. I'll find them for you. As long as they're still in the Sixth Sea, I'll find them even if I have to turn the world upside down. Thank you, Sea Lord Fan. Sir Lin saved the lives of the Sixth Sea. This is something that I, Fan Xian, should do. Lin Yu sensed something was wrong. He'd interacted with too many great figures and knew that when they said something like this, there would always be a next sentence. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Lin Yu planned to leave. Fan Tong saw this and thought, what a good kid. Young Master Lin, please wait. I have something to ask you. It seemed he couldn't avoid it. Lin Yu smiled helplessly. Please ask, Sea Lord Fan. This is not official business but a private matter. I don't like to beat around the bush. I'd like to ask, how far have things developed between you and my daughter? Fan Tong said straightforwardly. Lin Yu couldn't help but feel awkward. Fan Jinjin and I? Lin Yu frowned and pretended to be surprised. Of course we're just ordinary friends. How far have things developed? Hearing this, Fan Tong's expression changed. What? You only see her as an ordinary friend? Recalling how Fan Jinjin worshipped Lin Yu, Fan Tong knew that his daughter had fallen in love with the kid. If Lin Yu only saw her as an ordinary friend, then this was going to be difficult. Lin Yu could only tell the truth. I've only known Jinjin for a few days. Does Sea Lord Fan think that something can happen in a few days? This was killing two birds with one stone. Not only did he return the question to Fan Tong, he also warned Fan Tong not to be too hasty. If Fan Tong continued to suspect that there was something going on between Lin Yu and Fan Jinjin, it would only expose his daughter's casual behavior. Lin Yu would be at a disadvantage. Of course not. Jinjin has never liked a man. Fan Tong smiled awkwardly and cursed inwardly. This kid is not simple. His words were watertight. If I'm not careful, I might fall into his trap. The 33 seas of the boundless sea are also known as the 33 levels of heaven. Many young talents have expressed their admiration for Jinjin. Oh! Lin Yu's lips curled, showing some interest. He could be uninterested, but if Lin Yu pretended to have no feelings for Fan Jinjin in front of his father, it would hurt Fan Tong's feelings. Fan Tong calmed down after hearing Lin Yu's words. That's right. You don't know, kid, but Mu Yunhai from the 12th Sea came to Jinjin to propose marriage. That kid has already entered the equalization state at such a young age. He's not simple. Unfortunately, Jinjin won't even let him see her face. You may not know Mu Yunhai, but you must have met my traitorous disciple, Fan Jian. Fan Jian also likes Fan Jinjin. He thinks I don't know, but I know all about it. Unfortunately, he doesn't deserve it. Zhang Tianji from the 9th Sea and Wu Zhan from the 16th Sea both want to marry into the 6th Sea. Fan Tong continued. Lin Yu continued to play along. What happened after that? Naturally, Zhenjin avoided them and told them to go home. Otherwise, you wouldn't have had a chance. Fan Tong said this to Lin Yu in his mind. Chapter 746. Young man, you have to cherish this opportunity. You and Zhenjin have a chance. Fan Tong patted Lin Yu's shoulder. Fan Tong smiled, but his heart skipped a beat. Was this an order to pick up girls? Thank you, Ocean Lord Fan. Lin Yu will do his best. Don't worry, I'll find your friends as soon as possible. If they're within the 6th sea, I'll find them quickly. But if they've left the 6th sea? Fan Tong sounded troubled. Fine. Even if they're in another sea, I'll find them for you. Thank you, Fan. Lin Yu wanted to thank him again, but at that moment, a rumbling sound came from the entrance of the 6th sea. A signal to be on guard? Lin Yu looked out in surprise and saw a guard stopping a person at the entrance of the 6th sea area. The man wore a gray robe, hiding his face. He hovered in the air. The guards did not sense any danger from Lin Yu, but Lin Yu could sense that Lin Yu was very strong. Where's Fan Tong? An old voice came from under the gray robe. The voice reverberated throughout the 6th sea. Fan Tong, Fan Zhenjin, Lin Yu, and everyone else in the vicinity could hear it. A single voice could travel tens of millions of feet. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes. I may not be his match. How dare you? The Ocean Lord is not someone you can address. The guard unsheathed his weapon and pointed it at the gray-robed elder. Stop! Fan Tong shouted, hurrying over and ordering the guard to step back. He stared at the gray-robed elder with a serious expression, then half-knelt. Greetings, Venerable Wuya. The guard and the rest of the 6th sea were shocked. In an instant, they all knelt before Venerable Wuya. Venerable Wuya? Lin Yu observed Venerable Wuya from a distance. Seems like a big shot. He didn't need to kneel to anyone, but the reaction of the 6th sea's crowd said it all. The decennial battle of Wuya is about to begin. I order you to attend. Fan Tong, as the Venerable One commands. Fan Tong nodded. By the time he looked up, Empyrean Boundless was already gone. Fan Tong let out a long sigh and ordered everyone to rise. He also warned the guards. The next time you see the Venerable One, if this happens again, you won't be able to keep your lives. The guards were also shocked. They knew that they had almost gotten into trouble. Fan Tong returned to the camp and said to Lin Yu, Sorry to have frightened you. How can a man be frightened? Lin Yu smiled faintly and asked casually, Who was that? Shoo! Fan Tong shushed him. The Venerable One shouldn't talk about this lightly. Lin Yu was too rash. Actually, as you know, it's not impossible. Fan Tong already had some trust in Lin Yu. He also knew that if Lin Yu and Fan Zhenjin could develop a relationship, then Lin Yu would be on his side. He had nothing to hide from Fan Tong. The Boundless Sea is divided into 33 great seas. You should already know this. Lin Yu nodded. Fan Tong continued, The Boundless Sea is a part of the Realm Sea. Do you know how many realms there are in the Realm Sea? When Lin Yu shook his head, Fan Tong continued, There are 7 seas. The Boundless Sea is the smallest of the 7. Fan Tong laughed self-deprecatingly. The Realm Sea is divided into the upper, middle, and lower seas. That's a good name. Lin Yu couldn't help but mock. The Boundless Sea isn't in the lower seas, is it? That's right. Doesn't sound good, does it? Fan Tong laughed. That's why my lifelong wish is to lead the 6th sea to the middle seas. As for the upper seas, I don't even dare think about it. The 7 seas divide the Realm Sea into 2 upper and 2 middle seas based on strength. The Boundless Sea is indeed one of the 3 lower seas. Fan Tong looked at Lin Yu with a benevolent smile. Zhenjin is a woman. My first wife left early, so I don't have a son to inherit the 6th sea. Do you understand what I mean, Lin Yu? Lin Yu suddenly had the feeling that if he nodded, he'd be the future master of the 6th sea. This was a hint from the rich woman's father, who wanted to keep him as a mistress. Lin Yu wants to be the master of the sixth sea. Very good. Before Fan Tong could finish, Lin Yu continued, but Lin Yu isn't just the master of the sixth sea. There was a glint in the youth's eyes. It was the glint of ambition. Despite Fan Tong's age and cultivation, he couldn't help but be shocked. Such ambition at such a young age. He could sense the ambition in Lin Yu's eyes. A mere master of the sixth sea wasn't his goal. You want to be a venerated master? Fan Tong was at a loss for words. No, you want to go even higher. Lin Yu retracted his gaze, reverting to his respectful demeanor. Fan Tong laughed. Good, very good, but also not good. Lin Yu remained silent. Fan Tong continued, Do you know what I'm talking about? Lin Yu doesn't understand. It's not that you don't understand, you're just too embarrassed to say it. Fan Tong sighed. You have a good character, ambition, and strength, but Zhenjin is not good enough. Lin Yu remained silent. He knew Fan Tong understood what he meant. Go rest, child. Fan Tong waved his hand. He'd asked what he wanted to ask, and Lin Yu had answered in consideration of Fan Tong's dignity. Lin Yu left. Come in, Fan Tong called out. Fan Zhenjin emerged from a small opening at the side of the hall. You're still the same as when you were little, silly girl. Fan Tong smiled kindly, but he could see the confusion in Fan Zhenjin's eyes. Child, Lin Yu is stronger than I thought. He's harder to control. Do you want to? No, I'll be his daughter. Fan Zhenjin took a step back and shook her head. Father, I'll do my best. She'd overheard their conversation and vaguely understood Lin Yu's thoughts. He had a bright future ahead of him. He wouldn't stoop to the sixth sea. Fan Zhenjin and her father would only think that ordinary people were crazy if they said this idea. But Lin Yu was different. He defeated Ji Tsongliang with a single palm strike, killed Yang Jing, and rescued Xiao Yenyao when surrounded by an army. In this world, the strong were respected. Though Lin Yu appeared to be alone, Fan Tong and Fan Zhenjin knew that the sixth sea was out of their league if they wanted to keep him. Daughter, there are some things you can't force. I won't force it. Even if Lin Yu doesn't like me, I can't fall in love with another man. Fan Zhenjin rushed out of the hall. Fan Tong heaved a long sigh. Heroes don't last long. Though he was the lord of the sixth sea, he couldn't interfere too much. Chapter 747. For a few days, Fan Zhenjin did not go to Lin Yu. She restrained herself, but it only made her feel worse. Fan Zhenjin hid in her residence. She did not go to Lin Yu, and Lin Yu did not come to find her either. Bastard brother Lin Yu! Fan Zhenjin cursed, and a maid came to report the situation. Young master, the Ocean Lord and Lin Yu have been searching for the sea burial secret treasure. They have almost turned the sixth sea upside down. So it was father who did this. I hate him. In the Ocean Lord Palace, Fan Tong sneezed. Is the Ocean Lord all right? Don't worry, I don't know which bastard is scolding me. Fan Tong shook his head and said to Lin Yu, since we can't find the sea burial secret treasure, there's nothing we can do. By the way, I hope you can come with me to the Boundless Ocean Lord Assembly. Don't misunderstand, I know what you're thinking. This has nothing to do with Zhenjin, but I cherish talent and want you to meet more important people. Lin Yu understands. I'll go. At night, there was some movement at the north gate. Eldest senior brother, are we really leaving? 3 figures were sneaking around, and the one leading them was Fan Jian. Fan Tong treated me like this. He would rather believe that Lin Yu than me. What's the point of staying in such a place? Don't worry, you won't suffer if you follow me, Fan Jian. I've already contacted people outside. They're very interested in the sixth sea burial secret treasure. Hearing Fan Jian's words, the other 2 looked troubled. This, betraying the secret of the sea burial secret. If the Ocean Lord finds out, he'll kill us. What are you afraid of? We'll leave tonight. The other one looked at Fan Jian. Isn't that right, eldest senior brother? Yes, we'll leave now. Fan Tong has been preparing for the Boundless Ocean Lord Assembly and has no time for us. He doesn't know that there's something good waiting for him there, haha. Fan Jian's gaze was extremely cold. The two were already preparing to leave. This was the North Gate, the place in the Sixth Sea that lacked guards the most. It was only because this place was dirty and smelly. And Fan Jian was now in charge of the North Gate. Therefore, if he wanted to take the lead and leave, no one could stop him. He wouldn't even know. Wait a moment. Before I leave, I have one more thing to ask of you, Fan Jian said as he led the other two to Fan Jinjin's residence. Eldest senior brother, you're not thinking of taking the young Sea Lord away, are you? That's right. If we leave on our own, the Ocean Lord might not pursue the matter. But if we take the young Ocean Lord away, the Ocean Lord will definitely not let us off. Fan Jian snorted. This bitch was originally mine. If it weren't for Lin Yu's interference, Fan Jinjin would be my slave now. What's wrong with me taking back what's mine? The two of them couldn't stop him, so they watched Fan Jian approach Fan Jinjin's residence. The sound of the door opening was heard. The three of them who had just stood up squatted back down in the grass. They saw Fan Jinjin standing at the door and leaving her residence. Stinky brother Lin Yu, I must find him and ask him clearly. Fan Jinjin went straight in the other direction. Follow her. Fan Jian and the other two followed closely behind. Soon, Fan Jian was even more furious. Bitch. I've pursued her for several years, but she didn't even look at me. Now I actually took the initiative to throw myself into Lin Yu's arms. Fan Jian was so angry that he couldn't speak clearly. They naturally recognized that the place in front of Fan Jinjin was the guest hall where Lin Yu was now living. Young Master Lin, really? Fan Jinjin just opened her mouth and shook her head again. No, this may make Brother Lin Yu think I'm an unreserved woman. She paced back and forth. Brother Lin Yu, I have something urgent to discuss with you. This is not good. Fan Jinjin muttered to herself. The entanglement of a young girl's first awakening of love was vividly displayed at this moment. I know, I'll take Brother Lin Yu to that place. He'll love it. Fan Jinjin clapped her hands, then hesitated, but Mother said that I can only go there with my husband. Otherwise, I can't tell anyone. Go. As Fan Jinjin pondered, three figures suddenly appeared in the darkness. Who's there? Fan Jinjin's heart clenched. At this time, there would be no one outside Lin Yu's residence. Because he didn't like to be disturbed, Fan Tong didn't even place guards here. Junior sister, you're mine. Fan Tong's palm struck out, the force of his attack closing in on Fan Jinjin at an incredible speed. Fan Jinjin used her supreme will to block the attack. With a clang, Fan Tong's attack was neutralized. You again. Fan Jinjin hated Fan Tong so much that she didn't even want to call him senior brother. She raised both hands, and a fist energy merged with her supreme will. She was ready to strike. Junior sister, your 9 revolutions mysterious art is not bad. Fan Jian sneered. Senior brother, you dare to plot against me? Then I won't hold back. Fan Jinjin was about to strike when she sensed danger approaching from both sides. The two people who came with Fan Jian were attacking Fan Jinjin together. Despicable. Fan Jinjin was furious. Fan Jian didn't stop either, and the three of them fought back. Although Fan Jinjin could beat Fan Jian alone, she was soon at a disadvantage. Bang! One of them hit Fan Jinjin's right shoulder. Junior sister, I'm sorry. Be gentle. You hurt her body. What am I going to do later? Fan Jian yelled with heartache. He smirked and hit Fan Jinjin's acupoint with his 2 fingers. Fan Jinjin suddenly felt her qi and blood flow difficult, and her whole body stiffened. Damn it! She clenched her teeth, trying to use her supreme will to break her acupoint. Junior sister, take it easy. The supreme will is very powerful. If you use it to break your acupoint, you'll explode and die. Fan Jian warned, and his face showed his greed again. Don't worry. When I'm tired of you, I'll send you back to Lin Yu. You don't have to kill yourself now. Bastard, what are you talking about? Fan Jinjin stepped back seriously. Only now did she know that the Fan Jian she used to know was such a disgusting person. What are you talking about? Fan Jian was furious. You're willing to come to Lin Yu in the middle of the night. Why can't you accept me? I've been chasing you for 5 years. How can I lose to Lin Yu? Fan Jinjin interrupted him repeatedly. Shut up. You're not qualified to talk about Lin Yu. You can't even compare to one of his fingers. He won't be like you. Before Fan Jinjin finished her words, Fan Tong punched Fan Jinjin's abdomen. Puff. Fan Jinjin spat out a big mouthful of blood, and her whole body bent. Senior brother, didn't you say you can't hurt our junior sister? It's okay. This bitch, I'll make her happy later. Chapter 748. After saying that, Fan Jian was already blinded by jealousy. His 5 fingers formed a claw and grabbed at Fan Jinjin. Get out of my way! Fan Jinjin shouted angrily and dodged. Fan Jian took off her coat, revealing her fair and delicate shoulders. Junior sister, keep your voice down. Don't let Fan Tong hear you. Shameless. I won't let you get away with it even if I die. Fan Jinjin closed her eyes and unleashed her supreme will. Fan Jian was not a fool. He threw out a powder. The powder was inhaled by Fan Jinjin, and in an instant, Fan Jinjin couldn't summon any strength. This is yin-yang harmony powder. Any woman who smells it will be captured. Fan Jian was full of evil fire. He quickly approached Fan Jinjin and teased, Junior sister, do you feel hot all over and can't control yourself? I don't. Fan Jinjin's breathing was extremely heavy. She even felt that the breath she exhaled now carried a burning sensation. Tears welled up in her eyes. She used her last bit of strength to activate her cultivation to self-destruct. Brother Lin Yu, I shouldn't be angry with you. I really want to see you again. But there was no Lin Yu in front of her. There was only Fan Jian and the 2 wretched men. Fan Jinjin, let's see who can help you today. Fan Jian swallowed his saliva and approached. His speed was faster than Fan Jinjin's self-destruction. After all, he had been Fan Jinjin's senior brother for so many years. He knew the girl in front of him very well. Taking away her chastity was more serious than taking her life. But Fan Jian wanted Fan Jinjin today. You guys are a little noisy. Suddenly, a calm voice was heard. Fan Jian, Fan Jinjin, and the other 2 people were very familiar with this voice. The 4 of them looked over at the same time and saw a young man's figure appear between Fan Jinjin and Fan Jian. He stood with his hands behind his back and looked at them lazily. Brother Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin's eyes lit up with the flame of hope. But soon she said worriedly, Brother Lin Yu, leave quickly. There are 3 of them. Go get my father. Kid, don't think about leaving since you're here. Fan Jian said coldly. He could not help but feel a little surprised. This place was quite a distance away from Lin Yu's residence, and they didn't make much noise. Could it be that this brat's spiritual force cultivation was extremely high? Otherwise, the people of the boundless sea would not have such powerful insight. I'll return those words to you. Lin Yu turned around and put his coat on Fan Jinjin. This scene made Fan Jinjin's heart, which had just fallen into an ice cellar, seem to shine into a warm sun. Brother Lin Yu, let's go. Fan Jinjin felt that she was saved. Since that was the case, she shouldn't let Lin Yu get hurt. They bullied you. Don't you want revenge? Lin Yu said with a smile. There are 3 of them. Fan Jinjin shook her head and held Lin Yu's hand. I can't fight anymore. Brother Lin Yu, you can't take the risk for me. Let's go. Now that Lin Yu was here, they had a chance to live. Fan Jinjin was sure that Fan Tong and the people of the 6th Sea Domain would notice and come here. That would be the time of Fan Jian's death. Of course, Fan Jian was aware of this. Attack together. Kill them for me. The three of them activated their cultivation and attacked Lin Yu together. The latter just smiled, his eyes still fixed on Fan Jinjin. If a dog bites you and you don't want to bite back, the best way is to kill the dog. Lin Yu's calm and emotionless voice came. Fan Jinjin's heart tightened. This was the first time she saw the youth in front of her so cold. So cool. What a good man. Damn, you're about to die, Lin Yu, and you're still pretending to be cool. Fan Jian was so angry that his blood was boiling. His 5 fingers formed a claw, and the sharp finger force instantly approached Lin Yu. Then, in the next moment, a sword light flashed. Fan Jian was blinded by the sword light and subconsciously closed his eyes. In the blink of an eye, an intense pain came from his arm. My arm. Fan Jian kept retreating, his face full of fear. His right arm had been cut off. When Fan Jian looked at Lin Yu, he saw that Lin Yu was holding a wooden lightsaber in his hand. The lightsaber emitted a sharp sword aura that Fan Jian had never seen in his life. In front of Lin Yu, the 2 people that Fan Jian brought were dead. They couldn't be more dead. No. When Fan Jian wanted to run away, he saw Lin Yu pressing his face with one hand. So fast. This speed was beyond Fan Jian's understanding. Do you really think that you can beat me? Lin Yu's calm voice was heard. It was like an emissary from hell, directly striking Fan Jian's mind. I was wrong. Don't kill me. I have a secret that I can exchange with you. Speak. Lin Yu exerted more force. At this moment, if he used a little more force, Fan Jian knew that his face would be crushed by Lin Yu. I told him about the buried sea secret treasure. Fan Jian's face was full of fear. He didn't have time to think. Spilling the secret would give him a chance to live. Fan Jian didn't hesitate to do so. Who did you tell? You. Promise to let me go first, then I'll tell you. The other ocean lords of the boundless ocean? Lin Yu probed. Yes, but you don't know who they are. Do you want me to tell you? There's no need. Lin Yu shook his head and exerted more force. As Fan Jian's eyes widened and his pupils expanded to their limits, his head was crushed by Lin Yu. Lin Yu already had the intention to kill this person who was in the way. Do you have a handkerchief? Lin Yu turned around and kept his emperor sword. He looked at Fan Jinjin, who had been stunned on the ground for a long time. She originally wanted to help Lin Yu, but just now, she didn't even see Lin Yu's attack clearly and the battle was already over. In front of Lin Yu, Fan Jian and the other 2 were no different from 3 ants. Brother Lin Yu, are you hurt? Fan Jinjin's originally clear voice was a little hoarse as she asked. At the same time, she took out her handkerchief. Here. Thank you. Lin Yu used her handkerchief to wipe the bloodstains on his hand. He was calm and elegant. At this moment, the young man's blood-stained hand and cold side profile were deeply imprinted in Fan Jinjin's heart. Take this. Lin Yu returned the handkerchief and took out an elixir from his storage ring. Fan Jinjin took it obediently, thinking that it was an ordinary elixir. But the moment she took it, a strong medicinal power poured into her internal organs and quickly healed the injured parts. In just 10 minutes, Fan Jinjin's injuries were completely healed. Brother Lin Yu, what grade is this elixir? Fan Jinjin had never seen such a miraculous elixir. Chapter 749. It's about the same as the Celestial Fate Pill, I didn't notice. Lin Yu said casually. When he left the Sky Desert Universe, he had refined many pills with him. Qin Yi, Lin Yuan, and Lin Xiu also had many pills with them. So Lin Yu was not worried about these people after knowing that the boundless sea could not threaten them. This was the trust he had for his companions. Celestial, Celestial Fate Pill. Fan Jinjin covered her mouth. She knew the value of the Celestial Fate Pill. She had not had time to ask Fan Tong to return the glory bot that she owed Lin Yu. Lin Yu nodded and took the storage rings of Fan Jian and the others. Killing people and robbing them was his mission. After doing this, Lin Yu asked Fan Jinjin, "Why are you here so late?" "I'm here to take you to a place." Fan Jinjin woke up from her dream and looked at Lin Yu nervously. She pulled his hand subconsciously and did not dare to look at Lin Yu. She lowered her head and pulled Lin Yu to a place. After the two left, Fan Tong also arrived. Fan Jian. Fan Tong sensed that something was wrong. Why were there 3 more corpses on the ground? Why was Fan Jian here and how did he die? "Go and see if young Master Lin is here," Fan Tong ordered and said at the same time, "Zhenjin, you guys go and see if Zhenjin is in the boudoir." Yes. Lin Yu was pulled to the edge of the 6th ocean by Fan Jinjin. Lin Yu had been here before to search for the whereabouts of the buried sea secret treasure. He could not find it at all. Lin Yu and Fan Tong even thought that Ji Tsongliang might have lied to them before he died. But in the next moment, Fan Jinjin came behind a stone wall. She made a few gestures on the stone wall, and Lin Yu could see that it was a method to solve a small array. "There's an array here?" Lin Yu narrowed his eyes. He had checked with his divine sense before, but he hadn't found anything. No array formation in the sky desert universe could hide from him. However, he had been careless in the 6th ocean. Very quickly, Fan Jinjin's jade-like hand pressed against the stone wall, and at the same time, the unsealing formation also entered the stone wall. In the next instant, a vortex that was as deep as the starry sky appeared on the stone wall. "What is this?" Lin Yu asked. Fan Jinjin stuck out her tongue. "My secret base." After saying that, she pulled Lin Yu into the stone wall. The scene before Lin Yu's eyes changed rapidly. They had already left the 6th ocean and stepped into a starry sky. The vast Milky Way was like a silver sea that stretched across the night sky. Specks of stars could be seen everywhere. This was a silver sea of stars. It was Lin Yu's first time seeing such a magnificent scene. "Is this unique to the boundless sea?" Lin Yu asked curiously. After all, in the sky desert universe, he hadn't seen such a magnificent scene. Beneath his feet, he felt like he was floating in the air. It wasn't Lin Yu stepping on the air with his cultivation, but he was floating naturally. The sky desert universe's starry sky was also in a vacuum state, but there was still some gravity. However, this world was a bit like Lin Yu's understanding of the universe when he was on Earth. It's absolutely empty. Lin Yu observed the surrounding stars and saw Fan Jinjin shake her head. "No, only my mother and I know this place." "So mysterious?" Lin Yu continued to observe and saw a star that looked like Earth. He wanted to take a closer look, but he couldn't control his body. He couldn't step on the air here, and he couldn't control his cultivation to move forward. "Yes, only my mother and I know. Before she left, she said we can't tell anyone the secret here." Lin Yu noticed the strangeness here. It was absolutely empty. Moreover, the obsidian aura here was also isolated. The obsidian aura outside seemed to be unable to enter here, and here, it formed a new kind of energy. Lin Yu had never seen this kind of energy before. It seemed to be unusually violent. Lin Yu only saw dust constantly colliding with each other around him. After the collision, they produced new individuals. They combined into one to form a new force. Very quickly, these individuals separated again, and a new wave of fluctuation was created. Fusion, fission. Lin Yu was silent. Suddenly, he had a terrible idea. He only needed to see clearly if the star in the distance was the real Earth to confirm this idea. But he couldn't do it for the time being. Lin Yu could only respond to Fan Jinjin. "Then why did you bring me here?" Fan Jinjin lowered her head. Lin Yu could see her red neck and ears. Mother meant that if I find someone I really like, then I can bring him here. Her voice trembled. She was pure and innocent. This was a formal confession from a young girl. Have you thought it through? Lin Yu lowered his head and looked at Fan Jinjin. At this moment she looked very pitiful. Fan Jinjin's appearance could be rated 8 out of 10. It wasn't low. In addition to Fan Tong and Fan Jinjin's attitude, Lin Yu felt that if he really couldn't refuse, he wouldn't mind having another beautiful woman in his low-key sect. Brother Lin Yu, do you like me? Fan Jinjin held Lin Yu's hand and didn't dare to raise her head. It seemed that if she looked at Lin Yu one more time, she wouldn't have the courage to ask the question just now. I don't hate you. I don't like you either, Lin Yu said honestly. He was direct and ruthless. Hearing this, Fan Jinjin couldn't help but tremble. Her voice immediately choked up. Fan Jinjin still didn't raise her head. Instead, she said intermittently, "Okay. I got it. I'll work hard." She didn't give up. It was as if this answer was within her expectations. From Fan Tong's words, Fan Jinjin already knew the gap between her and Lin Yu. However, Fan Jinjin didn't want to give up. This was the first time she liked a man. The young master of the Sixth Ocean was unwilling to give up just like that. Seeing this, Lin Yu knew that feelings needed time to develop. Besides, it was hard to find a woman who could move his heart. He glanced at the new energy around him. Curiously, he reached out his hand and tried to condense this energy like he did in the outside world. Soon, the new energy formed a cyclone and appeared in Lin Yu's hand. The endless dust swirled around Lin Yu's hand like a starry sky. Fan Jinjin suppressed her sadness and looked at the cyclone in Lin Yu's hand. Brother Lin Yu, you're amazing. I've done it a few times, but I didn't know you could do this. As soon as Fan Jinjin finished speaking, Lin Yu's face turned serious. Something's wrong. He stopped condensing, but the energy seemed to have received some kind of summons. It surged toward his hand like a tide. If he didn't condense, it would disperse. As soon as he condensed, the energy dust in the entire space gathered. Chapter 750. Crack. Lin Yu's arm was instantly injured. Even with his balanced state constitution, he couldn't hold on for more than 3 seconds. Besides, the energy there was still condensing. Lin Yu wanted to let go, but a stream of energy passed through his palm and attacked Lin Yu's mind. He instinctively used his divine will to resist, but it was difficult for him to control his body. To be more precise, the energy directly broke through his defense. The violent energy wandered inside Lin Yu's body. 1 cycle, 2 cycles. It seemed to be observing Lin Yu's body. Soon, the energy of the cyclone began to merge with Lin Yu's internal organs. It was said to be a fusion, but it was so violent that it almost destroyed Lin Yu's body. Brother Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin felt that something was wrong with Lin Yu. She immediately stepped forward and tried to shake off the cyclone in Lin Yu's hand. However, the cyclone suddenly expanded the moment Fan Jinjin touched it and enveloped the two of them. At this moment, Lin Yu saw Fan Jinjin's hair fluttering. The energy that was destructive to him was actually gently surrounding Fan Jinjin. Even the energy in his body became docile because of Fan Jinjin's participation. The energy also changed Fan Jinjin. She was like a goddess among the stars at this moment. Her temperament and appearance seemed to have changed. Lin Yu could feel that Fan Jinjin's bloodline was quickly accepting the energy. However, Lin Yu and Fan Jinjin were attracted to each other like 2 specks of dust in the beginning. Brother Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin's eyes were blurred. Her consciousness seemed to be blurred under the influence of the power around her. Lin Yu's willpower was very strong, but at this moment, he also had an idea. As long as he accepted Fan Jinjin, he would obtain a very strong power. Just like the power of the dust, when gathered together, it would become stronger. Lin Yu and Fan Jinjin were like 2 specks of dust among the stars. Why are you becoming more and more beautiful? Lin Yu stroked Fan Jinjin's hair. Fan Jinjin had already reached 90% of his expectations. I finally understand why Mother said that I can only bring the person I like here. Fan Jinjin's jade-like arms wrapped around Lin Yu's neck as she looked at him with her clear eyes. Now she understood some things. Big brother Lin Yu, only the man I love can obtain the good fortune left behind by Mother. After saying that, Fan Jinjin pulled herself closer to Lin Yu, and their breaths intertwined. 6 hours later, when Lin Yu finished his sprint, a new memory surfaced in his mind. It was in a huge palace. The palace was carved out of white jade, not ordinary jade. When Lin Yu saw the palace, he could feel that it was an existence similar to the Sky Bridge. The palace wasn't an ordinary building, but a treasure. Lin Yu didn't know if the sacred objects that were passed down in the ancient books existed in this new world after leaving the Sky Desert universe. But now, it seemed that the level of the palace was on par with the Sky Bridge. Lin Yu's mind turned and he saw a woman. This woman's appearance was somewhat similar to Fan Jinjin's, but her temperament was much more otherworldly. She seemed to be older than Fan Jinjin, and she was full of the aura of a queen. When Lin Yu looked at the woman, she was sitting in the middle of the palace like a statue. Then, she opened her eyes and looked at Lin Yu. You are the man chosen by Jinjin. Congratulations. The woman's voice was cold and calm. It was as if the person here was not a person with a will, but an order. An order to tell the visitor the secret of this place. Anyone who came here would be able to know everything about this place. At this moment, when the woman spoke, an even more powerful force formed in Lin Yu's body. It was exactly the same as the galaxy Silver Sea. Divine power devouring starry sky. Lin Yu's eyes widened. He didn't expect another divine power to be waiting for him. Lin Yu could clearly feel that the power of this divine power was different from the one in the Sky Desert universe. This divine power was even more powerful. In the next moment, several voices appeared in front of Lin Yu. These voices didn't come from the same person, and he didn't know how long they had been there. Just the voice alone already had a sense of age. Nangong Ming, you are no longer the saintess of the Nangong family. Hand over the devouring starry sky and I will leave your corpse intact. So what if I die? The Nangong family has long been rotten. As the saintess, what I care about is finding the best owner for the devouring starry sky, not leaving it in the hands of corrupt people like the Nangong family. Nangong Ming, you are courting death. Lin Yu felt a sharp pain in his head. It seemed that the voice had stopped there, and the person who left the voice couldn't transmit his voice again because of some reason. However, Lin Yu still remembered a name. Nangong Ming. Who was she? Lin Yu returned to the starting point. At this moment, he was still above the galaxy Silver Sea, but his body could move freely. Fan Jinjin, on the other hand, had entered the state of breakthrough after 3 hours of exercise with Lin Yu. Lin Yu channeled qi into Fan Jinjin's body and sent the power of the 3 elements into one. It seemed that because the power here was compatible with Fan Jinjin, and Lin Yu had already made love with Fan Jinjin could perfectly absorb his 3 elements into one. If that's the case, you might be able to step into the 3 elements into one like me. With this thought in mind, Lin Yu used the power in his body to form 3 more circulations in Fan Jinjin's body. Every circulatory cycle. They represented the balanced state of battle physique, the balanced state of cultivation, and the balanced state of spiritual force. That was Lin Yu's comprehension of the balanced state. Fan Jinjin closed her eyes and had already entered a cross-legged state of meditation. She was comprehending the most precious thing that Lin Yu had given her. As for Lin Yu, while waiting, he once again looked at the star that was extremely similar to Earth. With a thought, a wave of power surged out of his body, causing his body to no longer be in an absolute vacuum state. With a thought, Lin Yu appeared outside the star. Here, Lin Yu's mind rumbled. He hadn't been so shocked in a long time. Because he saw the 7 continents, the sun, and the moon that surrounded Earth. He also saw Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Pluto, and Neptune. This was the solar system. I didn't see wrongly from the beginning. Lin Yu took a closer look. On Earth, he saw Asia and Huaxia. That was his former home. Chapter 751. This Milky Way Silver Sea is connected to Earth. Lin Yu was extremely shocked. His breathing was rapid and he wanted to get closer again. However, there seemed to be a barrier between Earth and him. Lin Yu walked to the edge of Earth's atmosphere and couldn't go any further. Is this place also changing? Lin Yu saw that the atmosphere on Earth was constantly surging. A force that was exactly the same as the one in his body was pouring into Earth. This force swept across the entire world. Lin Yu was sure that it wasn't glory chi, nor was it an ordinary airflow. Earth has changed. Lin Yu punched the barrier in front of him, but he couldn't open it at all. Although the force wasn't reflected back, it was like a stone sinking into the sea. There was no reaction at all. At this moment, in the Earth, a pair of eyes opened in the 2 huge holes in the atmosphere. These eyes were very similar to a human's, but they were full of coldness and death. This pair of eyes was not the eyes of a real human, but an artificial eye simulated by a machine. Those eyes locked onto Lin Yu. Outside the atmosphere, there was an extremely strong repulsive force. This force forced Lin Yu back half a step. But it was only half a step. With Lin Yu's strength today, the mechanical eyes didn't seem to be able to interfere too much. They could only show Lin Yu an attitude of not letting strangers in. Can't I go in now? Lin Yu felt the hostility from the mechanical eyes. He couldn't return to Earth. Instead, he was treated as an outsider and was isolated outside. But that was his former home. While Lin Yu was thinking, the Milky Way Silver Sea around him began to shake. It seemed that this world couldn't exist for too long. It wasn't the world of Earth that was shaking, but the Milky Way Silver Sea where Lin Yu was located. The universe passage connecting Earth and the solar system was collapsing. Lin Yu propped up his hands. Azura formed a loud sound. He wanted to maintain the world here. This was because this was the first time he had found a connection between his transmigration and the Earth where he used to be. Once it was broken, Lin Yu might never be able to find his way back. However, when the Milky Way Silver Sea collapsed, Azura's power was still too insignificant. Lin Yu felt that his strength was still too weak compared to the true power of the universe. He was unwilling to give up, but Azura had already begun to crumble. At this moment, a pair of jade-like hands pulled him back. Let's go. Fan Jinjin looked at Lin Yu worriedly and pulled him back. As Lin Yu left, the galaxy passage leading to Earth crumbled at a speed visible to the naked eye before Lin Yu. Lin Yu's gaze turned serious as the scene before him changed again. The 2 of them had actually arrived in a cave. This was an ordinary cave. As far as the eye could see, there were only simple stone walls and rocks. Have we been here all this time? Lin Yu asked. When he looked at Fan Jinjin, he realized that she had an otherworldly temperament at this moment. The Milky Way Silver Sea left behind by Mother has disappeared. Fan Jinjin nodded. She had a rough idea of what had happened, but there was still a hint of loneliness in her eyes. This was the last thing her mother had left for her. But now, it seemed that after her breakthrough and Lin Yu inherited the power in it, it had completed its final mission and completely dissipated. Big brother Lin Yu, thank you. Fan Jinjin was now in the 3 elements in one equilibrium state. Even Lin Yu was a little surprised. He reached out his hand and asked Fan Jinjin to give him her wrist. Fan Jinjin nodded obediently. Lin Yu held her wrist and checked the changes in her body. It was indeed the same as her appearance. She was in the 3 elements in one equilibrium state. Although her cultivation was not as powerful as Lin Yu's, it was close. Big brother Lin Yu, You know how to treat illnesses? Fan Jinjin teased and stuck out her tongue. Because of Lin Yu's nourishment, her originally tender face now had a hint of charm that it did not have before. A little. Lin Yu let go of her hand. Do you know your current state? Yes. Fan Jinjin nodded. It was Big Brother Lin Yu who helped me enter the equilibrium state. Moreover, it seems that my equilibrium state is different from Father and the others. Have you heard of the 3 elements in one equilibrium? 3 elements in one equilibrium? Fan Jinjin's breathing quickened. She had read many ancient books since she was young. She knew the origin of the celestial fate elixir when she was in the 7th ocean. Fan Jinjin had also read about the power of the 3 elements in one equilibrium in some ancient book. Cultivators are divided into combat cultivators, divine cultivators, and chi cultivators. Ordinary cultivators who can cultivate one of the 3 elements to the extreme are already rare geniuses. However, legend has it that in ancient times, cultivators cultivated all 3 elements simultaneously. However, this cultivation method has long been lost. Fan Jinjin answered Lin Yu's question with a serious face. It's not that no later cultivators have tried to combine the 3 elements into one, but most of them failed. For thousands of years, those who tried to cultivate either suffered from qigong deviation or died from the mutual rejection of the 3 elements in their bodies. Therefore, as time passed, this cultivation method of the 3 elements in one equilibrium was regarded as an evil cultivation method or a cultivation method that did not exist at all. Therefore, no one dared to cultivate it. Lin Yu nodded. Although it was different from the description of the sky desert universe, this was the boundless sea, and it had its own history. That's right. It's very dangerous, but it's also very powerful if you cultivate it successfully. Lin Yu said, although you have cultivated the 3 elements in one equilibrium, it's still not very stable. If you have time, I still need to help you tidy up your aura. Okay. Fan Jinjin pursed her lips. Thinking of the 6 hours she spent with Lin Yu, she couldn't help but blush. But then she remembered that Lin Yu didn't like her. 6 hours ago, Lin Yu's answer clearly told her that he just didn't dislike her. What happened just now? Before Lin Yu could finish, Fan Jinjin interrupted. Big Brother Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin whispered something in his ear. Lin Yu could only nod. It wasn't time for him to have children, and Fan Jinjin was right. But my feelings for you won't change. I really don't need you to take responsibility for me, Lin Yu. This time is enough. Fan Jinjin mustered up her courage. At this moment, a sound came from outside the stone wall. It was Fan Tong and the others searching for her. Jinjin, are you in there? Fan Tong sensed the fluctuation of the formation on the stone wall, mainly because of the disturbance caused by Fan Jinjin's breakthrough and the dissipation of the illusion of the Milky Way Silver Sea, which was perceived by the outside world. Yes. Fan Jinjin looked at Lin Yu and patted his hand. Big Brother Lin Yu, stay here and don't speak. Come out after I send Father and the others away. Chapter 752. He watched Fan Jinjin's actions. Lin Yu suddenly had a feeling of being protected. He felt that Fan Jinjin had matured a lot. Could it be that something could change a woman? Could it turn the immature Fan Jinjin into a mature woman? Lin Yu overheard the conversation between Fan Jinjin and Fan Tong when Fan Jinjin left. I'm sorry for making you worry. Breakthrough. Not bad. It's the energy of the equalization state. Fan Tong observed Fan Jinjin's aura. It was stable and restrained, and it even exuded a sense of pressure. Even as her father, he was a little surprised. My child, you're in the equalization state. You're very powerful, Fan Tong said. Fan Jinjin was nervous. Oh really? Fan Tong's sharp eyes saw through Fan Jinjin's guilty conscience. My child, why are you breaking through here at night? Why not stay in your room? Before you came here, did you see Fan Jian? I was outside Lin Yu's guest hall, and I saw Fan Jian and 2 other disciples being killed. About that, Fan Tong suspected Lin Yu, but he didn't know the details. He didn't dare to jump to conclusions. Also, why did my daughter become so much prettier? Your current appearance greatly resembles your mother's. Fan Jinjin was stunned by the 3 consecutive questions. It has nothing to do with brother Lin Yu. I killed Fan Jian. You? Fan Tong didn't believe her. You don't have such powerful skills. Fan Jian's death was a little cruel. His head was crushed. The 2 disciples were killed with a sword. The killer's swordsmanship is better than yours. Do you think I don't know what my daughter is capable of? Fan Tong narrowed his eyes. He already had an idea. Fan Jinjin already knew about Fan Jian's death and brought Lin Yu with her. It was very likely that the 2 of them conspired to kill Fan Jian. Jinjin, are you hiding something from me? Fan Tong continued to ask. His sharp eyes noticed a bloodstain on Fan Jinjin's skirt. Seeing this, Fan Jinjin also lowered her head. When she saw the bloodstains, a sudden surge of blood rushed up, flushing her neck and pretty face. Naturally, she knew that it was stained after Lin Yu was done with her. However, he didn't expect that his father would see it. This daughter, you? Fan Tong looked at Fan Jinjin in surprise. Could it be that you? Fan Jinjin's face was as red as blood. Father, it's not what you think. See Lord Fan, why are you here? Just as Fan Jinjin was extremely nervous, Lin Yu's voice sounded. Sir Lin, you're here too? Fan Tong glanced at his daughter and snorted softly before walking towards Lin Yu. The 2 clasped their fists. Lin Yu greeted Fan Tong, then looked at Fan Jinjin. You can go back first. I have something to say to see Lord Fan. Brother Lin Yu. Fan Jinjin's heart was pounding. She was very happy that Lin Yu had stepped in. She felt like she was being protected by Lin Yu. However, Fan Jinjin didn't want to make things difficult for Lin Yu. It's fine. You can go back first. Lin Yu said again. Fan Tong also sensed that something was amiss. Something was amiss between the 2 of them. Jinjin, you can go back first. I want to hear what Sir Lin has to say to me. Father. What? Are you afraid that I'll make things difficult for Sir Lin? Fan Jinjin could only leave with a worried expression. She seemed to be leaving, but in reality, she was still watching from afar. However, Lin Yu was brought back to the main hall by Fan Tong. Fan Jinjin followed them and heard their conversation from outside the door. Boy, do you have something to say to me? Fan Tong stood with his hands behind his back, looking more like a father. Even though he knew that Lin Yu wasn't an ordinary person, he needed to play the role of a father at this moment. He needed to see what his daughter and the man she liked were doing in the middle of the night. Commander Fan, you must have guessed something. The blood on Jinjin's body. Before Lin Yu could finish, Fan Tong snorted. Of course I know. You 2 conspired to kill Fan Jian. That's his blood, but you didn't have time to deal with it. How dare you hide? Tell me, why did you kill Fan Jian? No matter what, he was still my disciple. You killed him, because no one in the 6th Ocean Domain can use that kind of sword technique. You're the only one who can do it, you little brat. Fan Tong said. His words interrupted Lin Yu's train of thought. Yi. Lin Yu blinked. What he wanted to say was that the blood was Fan Jinjin's. What? You're going to keep quiet after killing my people? You're indebted to the 6th Sea, but Lin Yu, you should at least give me some face. Fan Tong's voice rang out again. Lin Yu had no choice but to explain what Fan Jian had done. Hearing this, Fan Tong was furious. He slammed his palm onto the golden chair, causing it to shatter into pieces. Bastard, he brought people to do something to my daughter. Men, drag Fan Jian's body out and beat it. Master, it's already been buried. Then drag it out. Fan Tong's face was red with anger. It took him a while to calm down. Then what happened after that must have been a shock to my daughter. She took the opportunity to break through? Fan Tong made up his own story. Lin Yu's face twitched. That made sense. Moreover, he'd asked Fan Jinjin. She and her mother were the only ones who knew about the Silver Sea of Stars. Lin Yu had no right to tell Fan Tong about it if even Fan Tong didn't know about it. Let's just assume that's the case. Lin Yu grunted in resignation. Fan Tong laughed. It's really a blessing in disguise. It's all thanks to you. He wasn't worried that Lin Yu was lying. He'd ask Fan Jinjin about what Fan Jian had done to Fan Jinjin. Actually, I've gained something as well. Lin Yu smiled casually. He didn't say it explicitly, but he was referring to the two major gains he'd made in the Silver Sea of Stars. First, he'd gained the Devouring Star's divine ability, which was stronger than the 8 tribes of Taishu. Second, he'd learned that there was still a stargate between this world and Earth. He'd have a chance to return to Earth. I won't shortchange you. Don't worry. Fan Tong misunderstood Lin Yu again. Lin Yu felt a little helpless after hearing that, so he changed the topic. He wanted to know more. Master Fan, have you heard of Nangong Ming? Fan Tong's expression changed drastically. What did you say? Nangong Ming. Lin Yu repeated. Did Jinjin tell you her mother's name? Nangong Ming is Jinjin's mother? Lin Yu roughly understood. It turned out that the illusion he'd seen when he was imparted the divine ability was left by Fan Jinjin's mother. Chapter 753. In that case, everything made sense. Nangong Ming had left behind a divine ability, but for some reason, the mother and daughter couldn't cultivate it. They could only pass it on to others. Lin Yu didn't know why Nangong Ming hadn't passed it on to Fan Tong. If Fan Tong had a divine ability, he probably wouldn't be at his current level, and the 8th Sea wouldn't have attacked him back then. It seems that silly girl really thinks of you as one of her own, Fan Tong lamented. Fan Tong sighed. My wife passed away many years ago. Since Jinjin has told you about her background, I can tell you. He seemed to want to talk about these things with someone else. Lin Yu understood. Some memories had been hidden in the belly for too long, and one always wanted someone to listen to them. It just so happened that Lin Yu asked about this. Fan Tong's status, his relationship with the 6th Sea and Fan Jinjin made it possible for him to listen. But you must keep it a secret. Rong-er's background is too great. If word gets out, the 6th Sea and even the Boundless Sea will face destruction, Fan Tong reminded. Fan Tong reminded him. If it were anyone else, they would probably be dead the moment they heard that name. But you're different. You're the one that the silly girl liked. I understand. Lin Yu nodded. Fan Tong's eyes flashed with reminiscence. Rong-er came from the Nangong family on the primitive continent. Back then, she was their holy girl. The Nangong family was so powerful that you could think of it as 10 times the Boundless Sea. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes. Although he'd already guessed the Nangong family's power from the illusion, he was still surprised to hear Fan Tong's words. She was a proper rich woman. How had Fan Tong met her back then? Don't judge me by my looks now. I was about as handsome as you when I was young. Fan Tong seemed to sense the confusion in Lin Yu's eyes and snorted out of a man's intuition. Rong-er is the saintess. She is guarding something. This thing is divided into primary and secondary. The secondary one is in the Nangong family, while the primary one is with Rong-er. Later on, the Nangong family became corrupt and deviated from Rong-er's mission as a saintess. She chose to find a new successor for what she was protecting instead of choosing a successor from the corrupted Nangong family. Rong-er was accused of betraying the clan. She was smart enough to sense the ambition and threat of the Nangong family, so she ran away in advance. A smile that hadn't appeared on Fan Tong's face for a long time. At the time, Rong-er was injured and fled to the Realm Sea. I happened to run into her and saved her. After that, she followed me back to the Endless Sea. This old one knows that the reason why Jin was with me at that time was only because the realm sea and the primordial forest stood on equal footing, cannot be violated. Even someone as powerful as the Nangong clan wouldn't violate the taboo of these three regions. That is why she was safe in the realm sea. Unfortunately, Rong-er's injuries were too severe. She was also worried that she wouldn't be able to find a successor for what she took from the Nangong family. As time passed, her injuries relapsed and she left me forever. Fan Tong recounted his relationship with Rong-er. Lin Yu fell silent, carefully listening to the twists and turns of the story. He also heard Fan Tong's choked sobs. Rong-er once said that the inheritance was related to Zhenjin. Zhenjin had another name, but Rong-er and I decided to keep it a secret. Fan Tong's emotions had reached a boiling point. He might as well tell Lin Yu everything. When she was born, I was grateful to Rong-er, so I gave Zhenjin her surname, Nangong Yu. Nangong Yu. Lin Yu murmured to himself. So that was Fan Zhenjin's real name. Logically speaking, she should be the next saintess of the Nangong family. It's just that she's stuck in the sixth sea. Fan Tong blamed himself. I told you before that I hoped to bring the sixth sea to greater heights in my lifetime, and even enter the middle sea. In reality, it was all because of Rong-er and Zhenjin. Unfortunately, Fan Tong's abilities are limited. He'll spend his entire life at the peak of the equalization state. He won't even be able to enter the next level. Fan Tong patted Lin Yu's shoulder. When Rong-er was alive, she searched for a long time, but she couldn't find anyone who could inherit her Nangong family's legacy. But you're a smart kid. I believe you'll have a chance. Worried about his daughter, he added, although Zhenjin isn't as good as you, I believe she'll achieve great things in the future. Perhaps she'll be a good match for you. This was the strong words of an old father. He valued Lin Yu, and acknowledged Lin Yu's abilities. But at the same time, his daughter had always been his pride. Lin Yu understands. If Zhenjin needs anything, Lin Yu will do his best, just like last night. Fan Tong didn't know if Lin Yu was referring to the 6 hours, or Fan Jian's molestation. But in Fan Tong's opinion, this was enough for the young man. Lin Yu exchanged a few more words with Fan Tong. He already knew everything he needed to know. As for the devouring starry skies in his body, there was a primary and a secondary. According to Fan Tong, the primary devouring starry skies could restrain and absorb the secondary devouring starry skies to reach a complete state. If that was the case, the devouring starry skies could be even more powerful. In the history of the Sky Desert universe, only 5 theurgies have appeared. Now, only the 8 steps of Taishu and the 7 steps of heaven trampling passed down by Emperor Murdering Ancestor. The 7 steps of heaven trampling are incomplete. Although my 8 steps of Great Void are complete, it's too difficult to cultivate and my progress is slow. I've only cultivated the 4th part of the dragon form, Yaksha, Garuda, and Azura. The remaining 4 parts are extremely difficult to cultivate. Whether it's in terms of comprehension or one's own strength, it's simply unimaginable. There are no records of the devouring starry skies in the Sky Desert universe, so it's not included in the 5 theurgies. It seems that the Realm Sea, the Primeval Forest, and the Realm Domain have their own theurgies, and their power is the same as the 5 theurgies recorded in the Sky Desert universe. With this in mind, Lin Yu planned to find a chance to test the power of the devouring starry skies. If he met the Nangong family one day, he could fight them. As for Nangong Ming's last wish, it was also confirmed by the illusion and Fan Tong, and imprinted in Lin Yu's mind. She wanted to change the Nangong family, and let the Nangong family return to its former glory. Most importantly, she hoped that Fan Zhenjin could one day use the name Nangong Yu to stand in the Nangong family. But Nangong Ming couldn't do this, so it fell on Fan Zhenjin, who was also Nangong Yu, and Lin Yu. This is too far away. Let's talk about it later. Lin Yu left the Sea Lord Palace. Fan Tong looked at Lin Yu's figure from afar and recalled his life with Nangong Ming. This child seems to have a better impression of Jinjin. Tong did you arrange this marriage? Chapter 754. You're a mysterious and powerful woman. I've always felt that I wasn't good enough for you. Please don't blame me. At first, I didn't want you to be like me, forced to stay by Lin Yu's side and become a lowly woman. I don't want her to be like that. After leaving the palace, Lin Yu returned to his residence. Fan Jinjin followed him all the way. Come out. Lin Yu Gij, I'm just worried about you. Outside the guest hall, Lin Yu hugged Fan Jinjin. You're so beautiful. At this moment, Fan Jinjin's beauty and temperament had reached the pinnacle. You're the second woman I've met who's cultivated 3 elements in one. Being so close to Lin Yu, Fan Jinjin could even hear his breathing. Her delicate body trembled. Even though she had already had sex with Lin Yu once, she still retained the innocence of a young girl who had just experienced her first awakening of love. Who's the first? Fan Jinjin couldn't help but ask. But as soon as the words left her mouth, she knew she was being silly. A smart woman shouldn't ask such things. If she wasn't careful, she might accidentally reveal Lin Yu's past relationship. Wouldn't that be asking for trouble? She's a woman I think is very good. Then I have. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Before Fan Jinjin could ask any more questions, he picked her up. Fan Jinjin gasped. Lin Yu Gij, what are you doing? I'm hungry. I want to eat something. Then I'll go heat up some dishes for you. Fan Jinjin squirmed in Lin Yu's arms. The latter shook his head. It's fine. I'll heat it up myself. Then, he carried Fan Jinjin, who was buried in his shoulder, into the bedroom. Ocean Lord Palace. Fan Tong also received the news that someone saw Fan Jinjin being carried into the room by Lin Yu. Fan Tong was furious. Preposterous. This brat is so brazen. Then, did the young Sea Lord resist? No. If the young Sea Lord had resisted, we would have already captured that brat. However, not only did the young Sea Lord not resist, he even looked very happy. The scout knelt down and said, Ocean Lord, should we do something? We've been in there for an hour. It's done in an hour. What else can we do? Fan Tong shook his head helplessly. Fan Jinjin had volunteered, so what else could he say? A grown girl can't be kept at home. In the future, you are not allowed to interfere in their affairs. Even if you see them, you have to scram as far as you can. The scout was flabbergasted. Sea Lord, 2 years ago, a genius from the 13th Sea Domain was rejected by the young Sea Lord. He secretly came to find the young Sea Lord at night. This subordinate remembers. At that time, he was even beaten out by the young Sea Lord. Ocean Lord, after you found out about this, you even chopped off that brat's hand. This time, are we just going to let Lin Yu off like this? He did not understand why Fan Tong was so magnanimous toward Lin Yu now. Logically speaking, that genius only wanted to sneak in to see Fan Jinjin, but his hand had already been chopped off. With Lin Yu's actions, not only did he chop off his hand, but he also probably chopped off his brother. How can Lin Yu be compared to those Tom, Dick, and Harry? Can't I hold a grandchild? Do I need you to be so nosy? As soon as he finished speaking, there was an sound, and the scout was directly kicked out by Fan Tong. In the guest hall, after 6 hours of battle, Fan Jinjin lay weakly on Lin Yu's body. I can't go on anymore. Rest. Lin Yu patted her Huiyang acupoint. I'm about to set off. The Sea Lord conference might be dangerous. You stay here and wait for Sea Lord Fan and I to come back. I can go with you. Fan Jinjin's bright eyes were filled with reluctance, and she hugged Lin Yu tightly again. You're squeezing me. Lin Yu's interest was aroused. He got up and straddled Fan Jinjin's body, and they started fighting again. You can't bear to part with him? Yes. I can't bear to part with brother Lin Yu. After a long time, Lin Yu lay down again and said with a serious face, "There are many things waiting to be done in the sixth ocean. With your current skills, you can protect the peace here." Before Fan Jian died, he said that the matter of the sea burial secret treasure was leaked. This matter will probably attract the attention of other Sea Lords. If someone secretly attacks the sixth ocean during the Sea Lord conference, you can stay here and have a backup plan. Fan Jinjin nodded obediently. Does father know about this? No. Hearing this, Fan Jinjin hugged Lin Yu even tighter. Suddenly, she felt that Lin Yu had already planned further than her father. Brother wants it, sister wants it too. Outside the sixth ocean, Fan Tong's warship had been waiting for a long time. Only now did he see Lin Yu arrive. Fan Jinjin followed beside him with a sweet face. When she saw Fan Tong, she shyly turned her face away. "It seems that the two of you want me to hold my grandson soon," Fan Tong said meaningfully. Fan Tong said meaningfully. The spy reported that Fan Jinjin had been in Lin Yu's guest hall for a full 18 hours. Because of Fan Tong's words, Fan Jinjin immediately lowered her head, her face extremely red. "Father, be careful. Brother Lin Yu, be careful." Fan Jinjin reluctantly let go. Lin Yu and Fan Tong went to the Sea Lord Conference. It was in the first ocean of the boundless sea's 33 oceans. This time, Fan Tong only brought Lin Yu. Most of his forces were left in the sixth ocean. Although he didn't think as much as Lin Yu, Fan Tong also knew that he had to leave some backup forces for the sixth ocean, especially when Fan Jinjin was there. It's right in front. The sixth ocean and the first ocean are relatively close. We should arrive in 2 hours. Fan Tong explained to Lin Yu along the way. He didn't treat Lin Yu as an outsider anymore. There should be 10 old guys coming this time. I wonder how their realms are. 10? Isn't it the 33 ocean? Lin Yu thought it didn't make sense. Then, he thought of something. Have the other oceans been annexed? You're smart, kid. You figured it out so quickly. Fan Tong admired Lin Yu even more. Tell me, how did you figure it out? Lin Yu said honestly, it's impossible for Venerable Boundless to not know about the 8th sea domain attacking the 6th sea domain. Even if he didn't hear about it, he personally came to the 6th sea domain and saw the traces of the battle there. However, he didn't do anything. This only means that he allowed the civil war to take place. Since the ruler allowed the civil war, the other sea regions of the boundless sea will inevitably have other wars over the years. Annexation of each other is inevitable. Fan Tong clapped his hands. My daughter's vision is as good as her mother's. You're right. There are only 10 oceans left in the 33 ocean. Originally, there were 11, but Ji Tsongliang courted death. Now there are only 10 left. Let me test you again. The Sea Lord Conference has another meaning. Can you guess? Chapter 755. The Purpose of the Sea Masters Meeting. Fan Tong knew that if he were to ask someone else, they would probably be baffled. However, this was obviously a tricky question. It was also a test that Fan Tong wanted to test Lin Yu. Is it to display the strength of each sea region? Lin Yu said casually. The older generation liked to test the younger generation. This was a sign of respect, and he could understand it. Logically speaking, Lin Yu guessed that the Sea Masters meeting would be similar to the Hongmeng duel on the Hongmeng continent. That's right, but how do you know? Fan Tong nodded as if he had agreed with Lin Yu's answer. Since the sea regions allow infighting, there must be some probing before the infighting. Otherwise, how would they know the strength of the other sea regions? Even if they don't want to fight, the Sea Masters meeting will become the best way for them to test the strength of the other sea regions. Fan Tong laughed and clapped his hands. Not bad, not bad. Lin Yu, you are the smartest young man I have ever met. However, the Sea Masters meeting this time, before Fan Tong could finish, Lin Yu interrupted him. It's different this time. I think there will be a greater meaning behind it. It will probably affect the ranking of the remaining 10 Great Sea regions. Fan Tong was flabbergasted. If it was just a moment ago, it could be deduced using common sense. But now, how did Lin Yu see through it? You brat, tell me. Lin Yu nodded. If the purpose of the Sea Masters meeting is to test the strength of the other sea regions, then the weaker sea regions will definitely use this opportunity to avoid being found out. In the past, there were probably many sea regions that were unwilling to show their faces. However, Venerable Wuya personally asked you to attend this time. This means that it's different this time. Lin Yu hid one sentence. With Fan Tong's personality and the 6 sea regions' battle prowess, there should be Fan Jian and Fan Jinjin below him. Although the current Fan Jinjin was powerful, the previous Fan Jinjin was far from it. Therefore, the 6th sea region was not suitable for the Sea Masters meeting. Since Venerable Wuya had personally come and ordered Fan Tong to attend, it could only mean that Fan Tong had avoided battles before. This time, Venerable Wuya did not agree with him. This also showed that the Sea Masters meeting this time was different from the previous ones. Good lad, I take back my words. Fan Tong clapped his hands and looked at Lin Yu with satisfaction. It's not just the younger generation. I don't think even the older ones are better at strategy than you. After Lin Yu voiced his conjecture, he still asked humbly, however, I still don't know the specifics of this Sea Lord meeting. That's normal. If you knew, this old man might suspect that you're a spy from another sea. Fan Tong joked, then explained himself. This meeting is indeed different from the previous ones. This time, it's to choose the sequence of the 7 seas, so I had no choice but to bring you along. Lin Yu nodded. Fan Tong continued, every 1,000 years, the 7 seas of the world sea will choose the sequence of the 7 seas. These people are the top geniuses of the world sea, the strongest of the younger generation. They can compete with the sequence of the primitive continent. There's also the Heaven Domain, which also has 7 sequences. The 3 realms have a total of 21 sequences, plus other scattered regions. A vast map of the world appeared in front of Fan Tong's eyes. 1 from the Ghost Domain, 1 from the Demon Domain, 2 from the Western Sumeru sect, 2 from the Demonic sect, and 2 from the Dongxing sect. A total of 29 sequences. The sequence of the sequence represents the strongest of the younger generation in the 3 realms. They will receive the best resources. Lin Yu narrowed his eyes. So, other than the Heaven Domain, the primitive continent, and the World Sea, there were other scattered forces. The best resources? Lin Yu asked. Fan Tong nodded. The younger generation of the sequence can take the Heavenly God ranking as their master. The Heavenly God ranking is the ranking of the strongest in this world. The current number 1 is the 6-winged Divine King of the Heaven Domain. He controls the largest Heaven Domain power. The number 2 on the Heavenly God ranking is the Vairocana Buddha from the primitive continent who has been meditating for 10,000 years. He is the same as the 6-winged Divine King. He has not made a move for 10 million years. As for the number 3, Lin Yu thought it was the boss of the World Sea's turn. Who knew that Fan Tong would hesitate? The number 3 is missing. Where did he go? Is he dead? There are too many rumors, but no one has confirmed it. As for the 4th and 5th, they are creatures from outside the 3 realms. And our number 1 Venerable of the World Sea is number 8. Lin Yu's face twitched. The World Sea is so weak? Fan Tong coughed helplessly. The World Sea's territory is inferior to the Heaven Domain and the primitive continent. Adding on all the other reasons, it can only be the weakest link of the 3 realms for now. You will know the reason for this in the future. Fan Tong patted Lin Yu's shoulder. I will give you the chance to fight in the 6th sea region. If you can win, you can represent the boundless sea and become one of the 7 great sequences of the World Sea. Once you gain a foothold, you will have the chance to find a heavenly god-ranking expert as your master. That is the greatest fortune of the three realms. Fan Tong heard Lin Yu's silence and was afraid the other would feel pressured, so he said, "Don't worry, the sequence battle is held once every 100 years. Even if you fail this time, this old man will give you the next chance, so you don't need to worry." "Thank you, Sea Lord Fan." Lin Yu couldn't help but clasp his hands in thanks. For Fan Tong to say this much, it was enough to show how much he valued him. Lin Yu felt flattered to be able to receive such attention from a senior in such a short time. Most likely it was because of Fan Jinjin. Sigh, could this be the benefit of being associated with a rich second generation? "Kid, what are you thinking about?" Lin Yu snapped out of his daze and asked seriously, "Is Venerable Boundless on the Heavenly God ranking?" "Yes." Fan Tong nodded. Venerable Boundless was once one of the top few on the sequence ranking. Later, he stepped into the Spirit King realm and is now 30th on the Heavenly God ranking. For the time being, he is the weakest. Spirit King realm. Lin Yu remembered Fan Jinjin telling him about the cultivation levels of the three realms. The balanced realm was the balanced great emperor of the sky desert universe. The four symbols realm was half-step into Empyrean immortal. The 10,000 spirits realm was Ling Zhao's former peak, a perfect Empyrean immortal. The Spirit King realm was a realm Lin Yu had never seen before. Fan Tong saw his doubts and said, "The Spirit King realm is the basic requirement to be on the Heavenly God ranking. Only those on the Heavenly God ranking and the sequence ranking have the ability to be recognized by everyone in the three realms." Chapter 756. As for what the Spirit King realm is, I don't know. I only know that my 9 paths of equalization would not be able to withstand a single glance from a venerable. That's how terrifying the Spirit King realm is. Lin Yu nodded. He had met Venerable Wuya once and knew how powerful the Spirit King realm was. At that time, Venerable Wuya had restrained his aura and only said a few words, but Lin Yu already felt a strong sense of oppression. If they really fought, Lin Yu's condition would not be much better than Fan Tong's. "You're still young. You'll know about these realms in the future. I'm afraid I won't have a chance in this life," Fan Tong said with emotion. He seemed to have aged a little. After the battle in the Sixth Sea, although Fan Tong escaped death, his fighting spirit seemed to have been destroyed. Coupled with his aging, he was powerless. That was why Fan Tong trusted Lin Yu so much. With his relationship with Fan Jinjin, Lin Yu was basically the future master of the Sixth Sea. "We're here." The warship of the Sixth Sea began to slow down. Lin Yu saw a huge door in front of them. It was a very simple arched gate. However, even though it was very simple, the gate emitted a very tyrannical oppressive might. "That's the entrance to the First Sea. Isn't it domineering?" Fan Tong's eyes were filled with envy. "The aura from above has 2 functions. First, it's to test the qualifications of the visitors. Second, the First Sea is pressuring all visitors. It's telling us that the First Sea is the strongest among the 33 seas." Lin Yu did not speak. He saw that the warships had begun to line up. There were warships from other seas in front of them. They were the 4th to arrive in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th seas. The warships in front of them seemed to have noticed the arrival of the 6th Sea. The one closest to Lin Yu was the warship of the 4th Sea. At the front of the warship, a subordinate reported, "Sea Lord, Senior Brother Mu, the 6th and 5th Seas are here." The person in front of him was none other than the Sea Lord of the 4th Sea Domain, Mu Zhan Tian. Fan Tong's people are not worth mentioning, but the 5th Sea, I heard that the person who came this time is called Lin Yuan, a disciple of the Lord of the 5th Sea. "Never heard of it," Mu Zhan Tian said coldly, his face full of arrogance and disdain. "Hee, I'm very pleased that War Sky is so confident. I'll be counting on you for this sequence battle." Bai Yanlang, the master of the fourth ocean, looked at Mu Zhan Tian with admiration, but still reminded him worriedly, I heard that Lin Yuan is not simple. He is only in his teens, but he is already a master of the four-symbol state. Moreover, he majored in the battle physique. I have seen him once. That kid's eyes are clear, but his willpower is incomparably firm. Any genius is nothing but a stepping stone in my hand. Mu Zhan Tian snorted and didn't even look at the warship behind him. Listen carefully. Bai Yanlang couldn't say anything and just glanced at the people of the Sixth Sea. Fan Tong, this guy, actually dares to come, with Fan Jinjin and Fan Jian in his hands? No. Fan Tong has never attended the Sea Lord Conference. Could it be that the Venerable asked him to come? The purpose of the Sea Lord Conference is not known to all Sea Lords. Even Fan Tong told Lin Yu the conclusion because of his experienced means and after discussing it with Xiao Yenyao of the Seventh Sea. Sea Lord Fan, long time no see? The warship of the Fifth Sea approached Fan Tong and the others, and shouted from a distance. Fan Tong also smiled back, and at the same time reminded Lin Yu, this is the Lord of the Fifth Sea, Yang Ju. At the same time, Fan Tong's gaze fell on the boy next to Yang Ju. Under the calm gaze of the boy, it was as deep and restrained as the abyss. Even an old fox like Fan Tong felt that this person's aura was great when he saw Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan also looked over at the same time. With just a glance, his calm expression was actually rippling. He bowed from a distance and took a few steps forward, almost flying directly to the warship of the Sixth Sea. Lin Yu's eyes flickered, and Lin Yuan understood and stopped. Kid, you actually know how to greet people? Yang Ju looked at Lin Yuan in surprise. Although he had only known Lin Yuan for a few days, Lin Yuan gave him the feeling that he was a kid with nothing in his eyes. Even in the face of him, Lin Yuan had never been so respectful. It's just that Yang Ju was thirsty for talent, and in front of Lin Yuan's talent, these small problems became his personality. See Lord Yang Ju, long time no see, this must be the new disciple you recently accepted, right? Fan Tong bowed to Yang Ju, but still glanced at Lin Yuan. At such a young age, he is already a combat cultivator of the four-symbol state. See Lord Yang Ju, are you sure you can be his master? See Lord Fan, I really can't teach this kid Lin Yuan, but he is willing to join my Fifth Sea. How can I refuse such a good talent? Yang Ju obviously also valued Lin Yuan very much, and between his words, there was no pressure on his subordinate. Instead, it was more of a kind of respect and fear. See Lord Yang Ju is lucky. Fan Tong smiled, but my luck is not bad either. This Lin Yu is my helper this time, and his skills are also extremely powerful. Although he couldn't see through Lin Yu's cultivation, Yang Ju also heard a few meanings from Fan Tong's tone. He looked at Lin Yu, who had no cultivation, but his temperament was excellent. Especially in this kind of place where experts gathered, to still be able to maintain such composure, this person was not simple. It seems that Sea Lord Fan is a strong competitor of our Lin Yuan this time. As soon as Yang Ju's voice fell, he heard hearty laughter in the distance. The warships of the 10th Sea and the 18th Sea had arrived. Following closely behind were the warships of the 22nd Sea. At this moment, outside the entrance of the First Sea, 8 warships had already gathered, and only the 7th Sea's Xiao Yenyao was left. Oh, Sea Lord Yang Ju, Sea Lord Fan, you two dare to attend the Sea Lord meeting this year? It turned out to be the 10th Sea Lord, Fire Buddha. Fan Tong and Yang Ju looked at each other and smiled, and at the same time there was fear in their eyes. The 10th Sea Lord was a red-haired old man, with 108 fist-sized Buddhist beads around his neck. Beside him were also people from the 10th Sea. Among them, the most eye-catching one was a man with sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. This person looked to be in his 20s, dressed in a golden Buddhist robe, and his status was obviously higher than the other disciples. He stood beside Fire Buddha, and his eyes quickly locked on Lin Yuan and Lin Yu. Chapter 757. However, he only glanced at Lin Yu. He felt that Lin Yu's cultivation was not worthy of his attention, so he only looked at Lin Yuan. This person is Su Longxiang. He's in the 9th Tao of equalization. He has great attainments in Buddhism in the 10th ocean. Fan Tong said softly, then went to greet the guests. Yang Ju followed closely behind. Only Lin Yuan kept looking at Lin Yu. His voice was a little hoarse. Master! Let's talk later. Lin Yu replied. They were in different camps, so it was not the time to recognize each other. After the 10th ocean, Fan Tong also introduced the people of the other camp. Jiang Ying, the 18th Ocean Lord, and Jiang Bihan, a man in his 20s who was fighting for the sequence. He was in the 9th Tao of equalization and was good at formations. Shan Qingling, the 22nd Ocean Lord. Because the previous Ocean Lord died in battle, Shan Qingling became the Ocean Lord. However, the Venerable specially allowed her to participate in the sequence as the Ocean Lord. Shan Qingling was tall and graceful. Lin Yu looked at her a few more times. He only felt that this woman looked cold and unapproachable, like a high and mighty goddess. Shan Qingling did not like to socialize in front of the fake politeness of the Ocean Lords. Although she was the Ocean Lord, she did not speak. This person is an alchemist. I heard from Zhenjin that you are also very good at alchemy. You can learn from Shan Qingling. Fan Tong said again. Lin Yu blinked and smiled. Aren't you afraid that she and I, what are you afraid of? Shan Qingling is very noble. I've watched her grow up, and I've never heard of her falling in love with any man. Fan Tong looked at Lin Yu with disdain. Obviously, he felt that Shan Qingling must have treated Lin Yu the same way. But if you really have the ability, I'll admit defeat. It's okay for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines, but you still have to treat Zhenjin well. Fan Tong was very open-minded. This old man was once a young man, and I know that the more capable a man is, the more women he will have around him. You have no choice, I understand. Lin Yu's old face twitched. This guy was a little too open-minded. Suddenly, an earth-shattering sound came from the gate in front of everyone. Lin Yu turned around and saw that the pressure had formed a stone pillar above the arched door. 4 large words appeared on the stone pillar. Heaven, earth, black, yellow. That's the level of aptitude. Since ancient times, only the Doyens have reached the heaven level. As for the others, the most powerful was the first Ocean Lord, Grand Preceptor One, who reached the high earth level. Fan Tong explained, but that's only for the superficial. Let's not test it. Lin Yu nodded and immediately saw some clues in his eyes. He asked directly, it seems that the results of Sea Lord Fan's previous test are not ideal. Puff. Fan Tong almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This old man hid it so well. How did you see through it? Lin Yu spread his hands. Who doesn't want to show off when they have the chance? Usually, those who say they don't want to show off are those who have been humiliated in the past, so they don't want to fight for it. Fan Tong's face darkened. You brat. Forget it. You're right. I was tested to have a yellow level aptitude, and it's the lowest level. I don't think it's accurate. Understood. Lin Yu nodded. In front of them, an old man walked out of the gate. The old man wore a purple robe and held a scepter in his right hand. His white hair fluttered in the wind, but his face was full of heroic spirit. He didn't look dispirited at all. At least, in Lin Yu's opinion, the old man's mental state was much better than Fan Tong's. He's Grand Preceptor Wen, the first Ocean Lord. Fan Tong said, his face full of fear. Is there a story? Lin Yu asked tentatively. Fan Tong snorted. That bastard once wanted to pursue Zhenjin's mother, but I beat him back. He has a high earth-level aptitude, and you have a low yellow level aptitude. Ocean Lord Fan, there's no need to hide anything from Lin Yu. Alright. This old man knows that I can't hide anything from you. Although this old man was heavily injured in that battle, he didn't gain any benefits. In the end, it was my wife who warned him and attacked. Only then did this bastard let the matter go. Fan Tong's aura became more serious as he spoke. It seemed that after so many years, he still wanted to find a chance to fight Grand Preceptor One again. Everyone, the Ocean Lord Assembly this time is a little special. According to the Venerable One's wishes, everyone who participates must pass the aptitude test. Grand Preceptor One smiled and waved his hand, gesturing for the man beside him to step forward. To be fair, I, the first Ocean Lord, will take the test first. This is my inner disciple, Tai Jian. His cultivation is at the second level of the 4 divisions stage. Grand Preceptor Wen's words sounded modest, but there was a sense of conceit in his words. After all, this was the first Ocean Lord's territory, and he had investigated the others from the beginning. No one's cultivation was comparable to Tai Jian's. Go. Grand Preceptor Wen said. The burly man beside him nodded and stood under the arched door. This is the first Ocean Lord's Dragon Gate. Once a Sea Lord passes through the Dragon Gate, you will know whether he is a dragon or a flood dragon. Grand Preceptor Wen explained deliberately. Except for Lin Yu and Lin Yuan, who were here for the first time, the others didn't need to be explained. But Lin Yu knew that Grand Preceptor Wen didn't deliberately say this for him to hear. When he said this, Grand Preceptor Wen glanced at Fan Tong. Bastard, this old man is openly mocking me. Fan Tong was flustered and exasperated. Lin Yu looked over again. The former could only nod helplessly. Yes, I have the lowest aptitude among all the Ocean Lords. Lin Yu smiled shyly. Although it didn't matter to him, it was still a little embarrassing. Soon, above the Dragon Gate, the Heaven, Earth, Xian, and Huang symbols of aptitude began to vibrate. Huang was the lowest, while Tian was the highest. When Tai Jian stepped through the Dragon Gate, a golden light soared into the sky, directly crossing the Huang symbol and reaching the Xian symbol. The Xian symbol is instantaneous. This person is so talented. Legend has it that Tai Jian is the first heaven's pride of the first ocean, born after many years of waiting. He is the person of destiny that Grand Preceptor Wen calculated according to the art of divination. That's why he trained him. Tai Jian seems to have some strength left. Look, the people below were discussing animatedly. The first person to take the test would attract a lot of attention. Soon, the golden light continued to climb in the Xian symbol. Low-tier Xian. Middle-tier Xian. High-tier Xian. Tai Jian looked down, the corners of his mouth raised, and he focused his mind again. The test of the Dragon Gate had nothing to do with cultivation. As long as the tester focused, it could see whether the tester was suitable for cultivation. The higher the aptitude of cultivation, the stronger the reaction of the golden light. At this moment, the golden light had already reached the low-tier Earth symbol. That's terrifying. I've heard that those with the word Earth are already 1 in a million geniuses. In the past, apart from Fan Tong of the 6th Sea region and Shan Qingling, who has never been tested, all the other Ocean Lords are Earth. That's right. There is only one Earth symbol among them, and that is our Ocean Lord One. The people of the first ocean said coldly, incomparably arrogant. Tai Jian's golden light had already reached the mid-tier Earth symbol. Chapter 758. Very good, very good. Grand Preceptor Wen smiled faintly, looking pleasantly surprised. Lin Yu looked at him from below and felt helpless. Grand Preceptor Wen probably already knew the result of the test. After all, the Dragon Gate belonged to the First Sea region. Tai Jian had already rehearsed it beforehand, which was why Grand Preceptor Wen dared to show it off. You're even better at pretending than me. Lin Yu couldn't help but say. The golden light had already reached the high-grade Earth realm, shocking everyone present. This is the second genius of our boundless sea to reach the high-grade Earth realm. Great teachers produce great disciples. Grand Preceptor One is the most talented person below the Venerable Realm. I didn't expect his disciple to also be the most talented. After reaching the high-grade Earth realm, Tai Jian wanted to break through to the Heaven realm that only the Venerable Realm could reach. But no matter what, he was still lacking. Come back. Grand Preceptor One ordered. Tai Jian had no choice but to return unwillingly. The Dragon Gate only looks at talent. It's useless no matter how hard you work. Instead, it's easy to backfire. How many times have I told you? Grand Preceptor One said coldly. Tai Jian bowed his head and admitted his mistake, but there was still some unwillingness in his eyes. What he wanted to do wasn't to be number one among the younger generation, but to surpass Grand Preceptor One. Unfortunately, he still failed. Everyone, my disciple has shown his incompetence. This is how the Dragon Gate tests. Everyone can start now. Grand Preceptor One was satisfied with the result because he knew that the high-grade Earth realm was enough to crush everyone present. He wanted to kill everyone's spirit before the start of the sequence battle. What's so great about the high-grade Earth realm? The person at the front was from the second sea region. Situ Xiu, the high-grade Earth realm is the best result below the Venerable Realm. If you're not satisfied, you can go up and try. The person from the third sea region's warship shouted. On the warship stood an old man and a young man. The old man was the second sea region's lord, Situ Jingtian, and the young man was the second sea region's representative, Situ Xiu. Sure, in that case you can go up and try. Situ Jingtian said with a fake smile. Yes, master. Situ Xiu took a step forward and appeared on the Dragon Gate. So this is the famous genius of the second sea region, Situ Xiu. Come, let this old man see your talent. Grand Preceptor One smiled like a senior appreciating a junior. How could Situ Xiu not understand that he was waiting for him to embarrass himself? I'll give it a try then. Situ Xiu focused his attention and closed his eyes. The golden light above his head immediately soared into the sky. Yellow. Xian. Low-tier Earth. Middle-tier Earth. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. They actually did not expect that this Situ Xiu was so formidable. Even Tai Jian's mind was roaring. How did he suddenly reach the middle level of the Earth level? Don't worry, he's still too young. Grand Preceptor One stopped Tai Jian and revealed a strange smile. On the fifth and sixth warships, Lin Yu and Lin Yuan were relatively close to each other, and he casually asked Lin Yuan, "What do you think?" "Trash," Lin Yuan said plainly. Hearing this, Yang Ju and Fan Tong's faces twitched. This brat is so arrogant. Fan Tong was surprised, but Yang Ju quickly calmed down because he was already used to it. From the beginning, when he saw Lin Yuan, the other party was already in a state of indifference. The more I think about it, Lin Yu smiled and said at the same time, "You should have a heaven grade." Yang Ju sucked in a breath of air instantly. Even Fan Tong looked at Lin Yu in surprise. How come there is another arrogant person? Heaven grade. What is this young man thinking? That is the aptitude and potential of a venerable. Lin Yu, you can't have too much hope. This Dragon Gate is very evil. Fan Tong was afraid that the greater Lin Yu's expectations, the greater the disappointment, which may affect his cultivation in the future. We all have it, Lin Yuan responded. He believed that with Lin Yu's potential, it may be far beyond heaven grade. Small, lower your voice. Yang Ju was afraid of being heard by others. He had never said such arrogant words in half of his life. But Yang Ju still couldn't stop him. Longxiang, these two people think they have a heaven grade. What do you think? Behind him, the Fire Buddha of the 10th Sea smiled, his eyes full of disdain. Obviously, in his eyes, the other side of Lin Yu and Lin Yuan were two ignorant brats who were talking nonsense. I should have a heaven-grade high rank. Su Longxiang put his hands together and made an Amitabha gesture. Then my son Jiang Beihan is also good. Beihan, how much do you think you have? The Lord of the 18th Sea, Jiang Ying, also mocked. Jiang Beihan pinched his fingers. With my attainments in array techniques, I should have an earth grade. But seeing that you are so confident, I will give myself a heaven grade high rank. Yes, my son's judgment is objective. Jiang Ying chuckled. Fan Tong and Yang Ju blushed. They both felt that Lin Yu and Lin Yuan were too exaggerated, which led to the exclusion of others. On the warship of the 22nd Sea, Shan Qingling's eyes also fell on Lin Yu and Lin Yuan. She muttered in her heart that they were crazy. She also continued to look cold and no longer spoke. Damn it, why can't I go up? Under the Dragon Gate, Situ Xiu tried his best, but he only had an Earth-grade mid-rank aptitude. He struggled for a long time, but the golden light still couldn't move an inch. It seems that this junior has tried his best. Tai Jian, make a record and send it to the Venerable Grand Preceptor Wen said. Tai Jian had already recorded it in a clear voice. Second C, Situ Xiu, Earth-grade mid-rank. Wait, I can still. Situ Xiu was obviously unwilling, but he still didn't react at all. The Dragon Gate only looks at aptitude. It's useless to work hard. Situ Jingtian, take your people down. Grand Preceptor Wen directly slapped Situ Jingtian's face. The latter also shouted in a cold voice, Idiot, why are you still not coming down? Even if Situ Xiu was unwilling, after hearing this, he could only return to the warship of the Second Sea. After that, the participant of the Third Sea, Zhuge Lingyun, Mu Zhantian of the Fourth Sea also took the test, and the result was also Earth-grade mid-rank. The junior this time is so powerful. Fan Tong couldn't help but roar in his heart. Earth-grade mid-rank was a height he didn't dare to reach in his life. How could these juniors casually achieve it now? The purpose of this Sea Lord meeting is to select a sequence. As long as there is a sequence, they can be promoted to a position recognized by the Venerable in this boundless sea. Who doesn't want to? Yang Ju also said with emotion, these old guys have probably been holding back their trump cards for many years. They have cultivated the most powerful, outstanding talents for today. After that, Yang Ju looked at Fan Tong, and there was a kind of sadness in his eyes. It was difficult for extremely powerful geniuses to appear in the sea areas where the two of them belong. Fortunately, their luck wasn't too bad. They had Lin Yu and Lin Yuan. We have arrived at the Fifth Sea. According to the order of arrival, Grand Preceptor Wen shouted to the warship where Lin Yuan was. This child is somewhat extraordinary. You have to be careful of him during the sequence battle. Grand Preceptor Wen said, but Tai Jian was already a little conceited after seeing that other people's aptitude was not as good as his. Just so, Tai Jian sneered. The warship of the Fifth Sea stepped forward. After Yang Ju bowed and saluted, he also motioned for Lin Yuan to go up. Lin Yuan was motionless and didn't immediately go up to the Dragon Gate. Instead, he turned to look at Lin Yu. You go first. Lin Yu transmitted his voice, and Lin Yuan dared to nod and step into the air. At this moment, Lin Yuan was bathed in the golden light of the Dragon Gate. All the golden light rushed straight to the heaven, earth, black and yellow ranks. Chapter 759. Look at how arrogant this kid is. Everyone saw that Lin Yuan's aptitude had reached low-rank Earth grade in an instant, and it was still growing. Is this kid's potential the same as yours? Grand Preceptor Wen asked with a cold gaze. Tai Jian narrowed his eyes slightly and saw that Lin Yuan's potential had reached high-rank Earth grade, and he was on an equal footing with him. At this moment, he had regarded Lin Yuan as his biggest opponent. Remember to deal with him first during the sequence battle. Yes, Master. Tai Jian nodded in agreement. However, the next moment, the audience was once again filled with shocked voices. Tai Jian and Grand Preceptor One looked and saw that the heavenly character of the Dragon Gate was shining brightly, and it was surrounded by a golden light at this moment. That is the golden light of Lin Yuan's potential, which has reached the realm of heavenly grade. Heavenly grade, only venerables can reach heavenly grade. This kid in the 5th sea has such terrifying aptitude. Even Yang Ju, who brought Lin Yuan, opened his mouth wide, and couldn't stop the joy on his face. Heavenly grade. Heavenly grade. This kid is not bragging. He is really heavenly grade. My 5th sea is about to turn over a new leaf. Fan Tong on the side glanced at Lin Yu. You kid, how did you know that Lin Yuan is heavenly grade? I know him, Lin Yu said casually, without much explanation. Above the Dragon Gate, Lin Yuan looked down, only looking at Lin Yu, and slowly clasped his fist. It was as if he was telling Lin Yu that he had today because of Lin Yu. He was just a small 9-color egg. Later, he was fed a lot of Yaobat in the Loki sect to absorb energy. Later, Lin Yu took him to the Despair Abyss, where the 9-color egg got the greatest opportunity. The monstrous monster aura, coupled with the cultivation of the 10,000 beast war emperor. His aptitude, whether in the monster race or the human race, is top-notch. In the 1st sea, at this moment, in a very venerated hall, a man slowly opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, the figure who was still in the hall had already appeared above the Dragon Gate. As soon as this person appeared, Grand Preceptor One, Situ Jingtian, and the other sea lords came back to their senses and knelt down to kowtow. Greetings, Venerable One. Greetings, Venerable One. At this moment, Venerable Wuya didn't even look at these people. Instead, his gaze fell on Lin Yuan, who was under the Dragon Gate. After a long while, he retracted his gaze and looked at the golden light above the Dragon Gate. The 5th sea, Lin Yuan, middle rank heaven rank, has surpassed me and is ranked as the #1 genius of the boundless sea. Venerable Wuya's voice spread out in all directions. At this moment, everyone's minds were filled with this sentence, coupled with the dazzling light of the word heaven. Everything happened too quickly. Even Yang Ju, who was out of the 5th ocean, was stunned. I'm going to make a comeback. Fan Tong, do you think I'm going to make a comeback? Yang Ju's eyes widened as he kowtowed to Venerable Wuya. Venerable Wuya took a few more glances at Lin Yuan before disappearing from the Dragon Gate once again. It took a long time for everyone to regain their senses. The older generation of Sea Lords had already cast their eyes on Yang Ju, trying to win him over. Lord Yang Ju, it seems that the cooperation you and I talked about before, this old man can reconsider. Lord Yang Ju, where did you find this kid? Do you have time to invite him to my 2nd ocean as a guest? Yang Ju, this is my 3rd ocean. You can visit more often. By the way, remember to bring Lin Yuan. These old sea lords took the initiative to show their goodwill to Yang Ju. Lin Yuan returned to the battleship of the 5th ocean without saying a word. It was as if the heaven aptitude rating he had just received was nothing to him. Because Lin Yu had already told him in advance that he was a heaven rank. Therefore, for Lin Yuan, this was not a surprise at all. Brother Yang Ju, I didn't expect your people to be so powerful. If you had said so earlier, you and I could have cooperated. Behind Lin Yu and others, the warships of the 10th Ocean and the 18th Ocean had already circled around and approached the 5th Ocean. The strong will always have the attraction. These people also planned to come up and get close to the 5th Ocean because of Lin Yuan. However, at the same time they also cut the queue. Wait, it's our 6th Ocean's turn. Fan Tong's old face was gloomy as he said coldly. However, the Fire Buddha of the 10th Ocean immediately sneered. Brother Fan Tong, this old man has just checked the person you brought today with my divine sense. He has no cultivation at all. Why are you still wasting time? What did you say? Fan Tong was angry and was about to step forward to argue, but the warship suddenly shook. It turned out that Jiang Ying and Jiang Jianghan of the 18th Ocean had already driven their warship over. Get out of the way, Fan Tong, you are still a good-for-nothing as your name suggests. Today you actually brought a disabled person to get in the way. The one who spoke was not Jiang Ying, the Sea Lord, but Jiang Jianghan beside him. This person was just a junior, but he called Fan Tong's name directly, not putting this senior in his eyes at all. After listening, Fan Tong's face was extremely gloomy. It's none of your business whether my people can do it or not. Now it's our turn to test, no one can do it. How could he not see that these people wanted to curry favor with the Fifth Ocean? However, Fan Tong didn't care who they wanted to curry favor with, but if they hurt Lin Yu's self-esteem because of this, then it would be unacceptable. Who did you just call a disabled person? Suddenly, an extremely cold voice came from the Fifth Ocean's warship. Lin Yuan's eyes flashed with fierce killing intent, staring at Jiang Jianghan on the 18th Ocean's warship. Young Master Lin, you have a heaven-grade aptitude. These two people in the 6th Ocean are both good-for-nothings. We will only lower our status if we talk to them. Jiang Jianghan sneered at Lin Yu. Son, shut up. Jiang Ying stopped him, having realized that there was something wrong with Lin Yuan. However, he couldn't stop him. When Jiang Jianghan said the second word, Lin Yuan's figure had disappeared from the deck, and when he reappeared, he was already on the 18th Ocean's warship. Kneel down and apologize or die. Lin Yuan's voice left no room for negotiation. Jiang Jianghan frowned, not knowing what the situation was now. However, he was sure that Lin Yuan's words were directed at him. Young Master Lin, did I say something wrong? Jiang Jianghan asked. He didn't know that a dragon has a reverse scale, and anyone who touches it will die. Lin Yu is Lin Yuan's reverse scale. Anyone who touches this reverse scale will pay the price of death. Your chance is gone. There were no complicated emotions in Lin Yuan's eyes. He just came to this world not long ago, and he might not even have some human emotions. There were only two emotions in his heart. The first was his loyalty to Lin Yu, and the second was the killing intent of the 10,000 Beasts War Emperor towards Yamato before his death. Yamato is dead, and the only person Lin Yuan is loyal to now is Lin Yu. When Lin Yuan's voice fell, he had already made his move. His speed was so fast that even Jiang Ying on the warship couldn't react in time. What's more, his son Jiang Jianghan is only at the 9th Dao equalization stage. What are you doing? Jiang Jianghan wanted to retreat and avoid Lin Yuan's attack, but Lin Yuan's speed is faster than the 10,000 Beasts War Emperor, and his body is stronger. Even if Jiang Jianghan burned his cultivation at this moment, he couldn't escape for a second before Lin Yuan pressed his face. No, no! Chapter 760. Noticing that the expanding power was gathering on his face, Jiang Beihan suddenly realized that Lin Yuan was going to kill him. But why? He was mocking the people of the 6th Sea. What did it have to do with the 5th Sea? Let go of my son. Jiang Ying immediately attacked. His 4 symbols state cultivation turned into a monstrous flame that fell at lightning speed. But Lin Yuan had already released his killing intent, and there was no reason for him to give up. In his palm, a violent energy ball formed by demonic energy exploded instantly. Boom! The deafening sound attracted everyone's attention. Who would have thought that a fight would start before the Sea Lord Assembly began? Is that the person with the heaven-grade aptitude? Who is his opponent? Is it Jiang Beihan? When everyone heard the sound of the battle, they saw Jiang Beihan's face covered in blood. With just one blow, Jiang Beihan was already dead. His whole face was blasted into black charcoal. Beihan. Seeing his son die in front of him, Jiang Ying roared furiously and instantly hit Lin Yuan with his palm. At this moment, Lin Yuan had not stopped his attack, so he had no time to resist Jiang Ying. However, Jiang Ying's attack was pressed down by another person. Just as he leaped up, a young man appeared in front of Jiang Ying. They had always thought that he was a cripple, but at this moment, he pressed Jiang Ying down without anyone noticing. Just like that, he blocked Jiang Ying's killing move against Lin Yuan. "It's not your turn yet." Lin Yu's calm voice came. Lin Yuan didn't want him to be bullied, and so did Lin Yu. If Jiang Ying really hurt Lin Yuan, he wouldn't mind killing a Sea Lord under the Dragon Gate. This. Fan Tong jumped in fright. "When did this kid get there? Lin Yuan, how dare you kill him? You think you can kill people at will just because you have the heaven-grade aptitude? Everyone, let's take him down first." The people who shouted were Su Longxiang from the 10th Sea and Mu Zhantian from the 4th Sea. Not only them, but even Zhuge Lingyun from the 3rd Sea was holding a judge's pen, ready to attack at any time. Situ Xiu of the 2nd Sea region and Tai Jian of the 1st Sea region also looked at Lin Yuan coldly when they saw this scene. "I heard that Lin Yuan was not a member of the Boundless Sea before. Is it possible that he is a spy sent by the other 6 seas to kill the young geniuses of the Boundless Sea? If that's the case, then all the more we can't let him live." Situ Xiu and Tai Jian looked at each other. They understood each other's meaning and agreed with each other. Revenge? Spies? Those were all fake. Lin Yuan has a heaven-grade aptitude, coupled with the super combat power that Jiang Bihan showed when he fought just now. Such a person would be their biggest enemy if he participated in the sequence battle. Now that they had the opportunity to get rid of Lin Yuan, they couldn't ask for more. Grand Preceptor Wen, you are the host. What do you think we should do? Second Ocean Lord Situ Jingtian asked tentatively. Old Fox. Grand Preceptor Wen thought to himself that this was to force him to make a decision. Let the younger generation solve their own problems. It is not good for us, the Ocean Lords, to get involved. Grand Preceptor Wen said with a deep sense of righteousness. He smiled again. The rule of the Boundless Sea is that the strong are respected. Whoever can survive will be the reason. His meaning was already very clear. The Ocean Lords must not intervene. Otherwise, it would be easy to make a big deal out of it. After all, the Ocean Lord Conference is about to begin. If the Ocean Lords start a war, then he, as the first Ocean Lord and the host, would lose face. Therefore, Grand Preceptor Wen meant that the younger generation should solve it. Then, Tai Jian understood. Situ Xiu and the others also understood. Lin Yuan, you killed indiscriminately. Today, several of us will avenge Brother Beihan. However, Jiang Bihan did a favor for the 4th Sea region in the past. Today, Mu Zhantian, can't just let it go. These people had curried favor with the 5th Sea region just now. But in the blink of an eye, as long as they caught Lin Yuan, the heaven-grade aptitude powerhouse that everyone was jealous of, they wouldn't mind getting rid of him on the spot. Haha, it hasn't been so lively for a long time. Just as these people were approaching the 18th warship, in the distance, Xiao Yinyao's 7th Sea region slowly arrived. Little friend, long time no see. Did anyone bully you here? Xiao Yinyao saw Lin Yu and Jiang Ying fighting from afar. On the other side, there was Jiang Bihan's corpse and Lin Yuan. He didn't know Lin Yuan, but Lin Yu saved him and the 7th Sea region. Bully? This old man's son is dead, and you say I bullied him? Jiang Ying's face was fierce, but in addition to grief in his heart, he was more surprised that Lin Yu's strength was so great that it completely suppressed the movement of his body. The people of the sea region had an extremely strong body, but this kid seemed to have no cultivation, but unexpectedly, he had such a powerful body. Jiang Ying, what does your son's death have to do with my little friend? He didn't do it. Xiao Yinyao smiled and pulled Lin Yu away with one hand. At the same time, he also separated Lin Yu and Jiang Ying. He stood in the middle and motioned Lin Yu to return to his warship. As for Lin Yuan, Xiao Yinyao didn't know him, but when he saw Lin Yu standing up for him, he subconsciously gave him a look. "See Lord Xiao, this is my matter. Let me solve it myself, okay?" Grand Preceptor Wen's voice was a bit cold. Xiao Yenyao had made up his mind. Moreover, when he was betrayed by Yang Jing, he had experienced life and death, and he had seen the fickleness of human nature. This old man is talking to Sea Lord Jiang. How can I intervene in this matter? Xiao Yenyao smiled helplessly, but there was a hint of mockery and provocation in his words. It seems that Sea Lord Zhao's 7th Sea region has experienced a disaster, which has made you a lot bolder. Grand Preceptor Wen said coldly, too lazy to pay attention to this side. As for the others, they saw Xiao Yenyao protecting Lin Yu. In addition, Fan Tong and Yang Ju also reacted and protected Lin Yu and Lin Yuan at the same time. With the support of the 3 Sea Lords, Jiang Ying naturally can't do anything. As for the others, they just want to add insult to injury. Naturally, they won't really go all out. Seeing that there is no advantage to take, they can only give up for the time being. Thank you, Senior. Lin Yu cupped his fist. Although he was sure that he and Lin Yuan could escape unscathed, it was inevitable that Fan Tong and Yang Ju would be implicated. The current situation is a little better. It's a small matter, a small matter. Little friend, I haven't seen you for a few days, but your cultivation has reached a higher level. You can actually suppress Jiang Ying's anger with one hand. Xiao Yinyao's old eyes were sharp, and he saw a little clue from a distance. He didn't come just in time to stop Jiang Ying. Jiang Ying could have taken action when Jiang Beihan died, but Xiao Yinyao could see that he was stopped by Lin Yu. A Sea Lord was pressed to the ground with one hand, and he couldn't even avenge his son's death. This only shows that Lin Yu's strength is terrifying. Chapter 761. Brother, you are recovering well. Fan Tong smiled apologetically and started to reminisce with Xiao Yinyao. Brother, I really couldn't get away to help you. At that time, my Sai Zhenzhen has already told me about this matter. Brother, you couldn't even protect yourself. How could you save me? Moreover, at that time, you didn't know the situation in my sea. Xiao Yinyao also understood Fan Tong. The two nodded at each other with a helpless look. Shameful. If it weren't for Lin Yu, the two of them would have died in their own sea. The two had a consensus, and Yang Ju had seen Lin Yuan's help to Lin Yu just now. He had already determined this kid's attitude. Lin Yuan, Lin Yu, are the two of them brothers? It seems that this old man has to interact more with Lin Yu. Yang Ju thought. At this moment they had already entered the Dragon Gate. After Jiang Beihan was killed in the 18th Sea, the people in the 10th Sea did not dare to cut the line again. The next one to enter the Dragon Gate was Lin Yu. Kid, it's your turn. Fan Tong patted Lin Yu's shoulder. Don't be too burdened, although the one in front of you is a heaven-grade talent. I think little friend Lin Yu's talent is not too low. Xiao Yinyao admired Lin Yu very much. Obviously, his eyesight was much better than Fan Tong's, and he could understand Lin Yu's hidden strength better. Let's play. Those who came to participate in the sequence battle had to pass the Dragon Gate. He knew that this thing could not be avoided. However, Lin Yu did not know that in this world, they could not see through his cultivation. He also did not know if his aptitude would not be revealed in the Dragon Gate. Lin Yu slowly walked into the Dragon Gate. Soon, a golden light detected his appearance. The golden light penetrated Lin Yu's body and seemed to be checking his aptitude from the inside out. But after a long time, the golden light did not move. This kid, is he really a waste? Don't say, have you forgotten what happened to Jiang Beihan? The Fire Buddha warned Su Longxiang. I'm afraid of Lin Yu? I'm not talking about Lin Yu, but Lin Yuan. That kid can kill Jiang Beihan, and he can also kill you. Hearing this, even with Su Longxiang's pride, he could only suppress the unwillingness in his heart. If he didn't want to tell her, then so be it. Do you think I can suffocate to death? Su Longxiang harumphed coldly, not saying a word. At the same time, even though the others saw that Lin Yu's aptitude was 0 and that his golden and yellow grades were not affected, they were still shocked by Jiang Beihan's death. Not many people dared to speak ill of Lin Yu. If he could kill Jiang Beihan, then Lin Yuan could kill them. After all, Jiang Beihan was the young lord of the 18th Sea region, and he was protected by Jiang Ying, the Sea Lord. Even so, he still couldn't save his own life. Forget it, forget it. I don't dare to say it. Hey, is this a world where the strong are respected? Lin Yu felt helpless. After looking at it for a long time, there was still no reaction. He focused again, but the golden light didn't react at all. Child, come down, we are going in. Fan Tong coughed dryly and looked at Xiao Yenyao, although he was also a little surprised. But thinking that they couldn't see through Lin Yu's cultivation, maybe the Dragon Gate couldn't see through it either. Brother Fan, the Dragon Gate is not allowed. Brother Xiao is right, I think so too. The two of them took Lin Yu into the Dragon Gate. After that, it was Su Longxiang and Shan Qingling's test. However, when it was Su Longxiang's turn, a strange scene happened. The moment Su Longxiang entered the Dragon Gate began to shake violently. This made Su Longxiang, who was concentrating under the Dragon Gate, overjoyed. Am I the chosen one? Even Lin Yuan didn't have this vibration. The 10th Sea Lord, Fire Buddha, also laughed and said, The state of the Dragon Gate, I think my disciple is also of the heaven grade. Shan Qingling, who was behind him, had a cold face and didn't say a word, but when she saw the Dragon Gate shaking, she also felt great pressure. She was behind Su Longxiang and was the last person to take the test. If the gap between her and Su Longxiang's talent was too big, it would be difficult for her, who had just become the Sea Lord, to convince the public. What grade of aptitude do you think Su Longxiang has? Brother Xiao, looking at the reaction of the Dragon Gate, it should be at least of the heaven grade. Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao, who had already passed the Dragon Gate, turned back again and were also alarmed by this strange phenomenon. At the same time, Grand Preceptor 1 and the others cast their attention. Is this kid more powerful than Lin Yuan? Damn it, it seems that this Sea Lord's meeting is really a gathering of the geniuses. Compared with those geniuses, the difference between them is obvious. Su Longxiang heard everyone's evaluation of him below and felt the joy of success in advance. I am of the heaven grade, at least of the heaven grade, let's go. Su Longxiang shouted, imagining the feeling of being envied by tens of thousands of people and being fawned on. The two great beauties of the boundless sea, Shan Qingling and Fan Jinjin, if I have the heaven grade aptitude, maybe I can take them and make them my slaves in bed. Su Longxiang murmured Umitba and began to concentrate. However, an unforeseen event occurred once again. Above the Dragon Gate, there was only vibration. There was no reaction from the golden light rushing towards the four words of heaven, earth, Xian, and Huang. What's the situation? Is the Dragon Gate broken? Is it because my aptitude is too high that the Dragon Gate can't bear it? Su Longxiang thought to himself. However, in the next moment, the yellow characters on the Dragon Gate exploded. The tyrannical and violent fluctuation frightened everyone. The disciples of the 10th Sea, who were slightly closer to the Dragon Gate, were also affected by the explosion. Many of them directly spurted out a mouthful of blood. What? The Dragon Gate exploded? Why? Even Grand Preceptor 1, Tai Jian, and the others, who were the hosts, were shocked at this moment. The Dragon Gate had stood in the First Sea for many years. The so-called aptitude assessment base of the Boundless Sea's geniuses. This was the first time it exploded. It's not my fault. Su Longxiang immediately wanted to explain. However, while he was still in the Dragon Gate, the second and third sound resounded again. That was the Xian word and the Earth word that exploded at the same time. Su Longxiang, what did you do? Tai Jian roared and pointed the spearhead at Su Longxiang. I told you, it's not my fault. Seeing that the situation was not good, Su Longxiang immediately exited the Dragon Gate and returned to his warship. However, when he left, the last heaven word also exploded. This was the most violent explosion, which directly collapsed the entire huge Dragon Gate. The arched door collapsed. The warship of the 10th Sea couldn't dodge in time and was directly crushed in half. Fire Buddha and Su Longxiang flew up to the sky, and more than half of the disciples were killed or injured. Su Longxiang looked at all this in a daze. How could the Dragon Gate be destroyed when the heaven-grade aptitude didn't come out? Not only did he destroy the Dragon Gate, but he also killed many of his own people. Eldest senior brother, save me. Eldest senior brother, why did you do this? You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.